Men's basketball starts off February on the road in the Gateway City. The Rams fell in their last contest on Wednesday against URI at the Rose Hill Gym, but look to turn the page from the end of January as they begin the home stretch of the regular season. Tonight, Fordham goes to battle with the Saint Louis Billikens. The Billikens bring a 2-6 January record into tonight's contest, while the Rams had quite the opposite month, going 6-2. SLU also comes off a loss on Wednesday against the George Mason Patriots at the Chaifetz Arena. It's the Fordham Rams versus the reigning WNIT champions, St. Louis Billikens. It's Fordham women's basketball, and it's coming up next on WFUV Sports. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside of the Chaifetz Arena here just west of the Gateway City. We're here in St. Louis, Missouri, ahead of the Fordham Rams against the St. Louis Billikens. I am Tucker Austin, joined this evening by my broadcast partner, Madi Dembele. And Madi, before we get into our Coach's Sound with Coach B, do you have any narratives or storylines for us coming into tonight?
Oh, you're also too kind, Tucker. I got to tell you, matchup history, call this one a rubber match. Each team is 11 wins. Get that, ladies and gentlemen. 11 wins against one another in the all-time series here. Today marks the 23rd meeting between the two. Fordham 6-4 in the last 10 meetings between the two. The last game going back 79-64 in their last meeting. If you're St. Louis, particularly coming off a loss in your last game, you want to get this back, and you want to get it back bad. Fordham also in a one-game losing streak where they did not come to play lackluster offense all throughout, so you also want to take care of business against a familiar foe, each with a chip on their shoulder and with something to play for.
And, well, we know exactly what these two teams are going to have to do tonight, but we want to get inside of the head coach of Fordham women's basketball. We got a chance to catch up with head coach Bridgette Mitchell. Here is the Coach's Sound. Tucker Austin and Madi Dembele here ahead of Fordham's game against the St. Louis Billikens with head coach Bridgette Mitchell. And coach, this is your guys' first road game in over 2 weeks. How was the prep this week, kind of getting ready to get back on the road?
Yeah, and we started classes, right? So it's a lot of factors. I think that the main thing for us was to focus, and so we went about the routine in terms of trying to get out here a little earlier, having some time to decompress, had a chance to go, see the Gateway Arch, and so to get them, to have that time of decompressing, and then we ended the night with watching film, right, to remind her why we came here, and to hammer home some points of emphasis in order to get the victory here today against St. Louis.
And still, the defense holds strong. Versus Rhode Island marks the 12th time Fordham held an opponent under 60. Coach, just from someone who sits on the side and watches guys every game, what's the secret ingredient we do need to know coming into every single game and applying that level of pressure?
Yeah, I think that our defense was pretty strong. I think that, each night when we come out, each opponent is different, right? And they offer a certain challenge that we have to prepare for. And I think that our team has done a really good job of focusing in on that teaching point that we're telling them of taking away and limiting the amount of looks. Like, no, we're not going to be perfect every night, but we are going to make you uncomfortable by doing something that you're not necessarily accustomed to.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit sorry that I have to ask this, but after that URI game, how important is it that your team's offense bounces back tonight?
Yeah, it's important, right? Like St. Louis is a team that can score. All 5 of their players are aggressive offensively. We talk about it this week, we say everybody on their team is trying to get a bucket, right? And so we have to do what we do defensively, but we also have to outscore them. We had some good stops against Rhode Island, but we didn't score the ball. And so that'll be a challenge for us today, just like every night, and looking forward to see who rises to the occasion.
Something to offer on offense, 60. That's been the magic number for Fordham. 10-3 when FU scores 60. I mean, what's your relationship with that number? Is this something that you stress in practice, we need to reach this mark, or is it just back to the basics, what we know, and then the offense will eventually come?
Yeah, we stick to the basics, but our defense is what gets our offense going, right? Our players get really chippy and excited and on the defensive end, and that translates to, steals and layups, and then the momentum shifts, and so everybody's feeling good, feeling more confident about their shots. So we just have to do what we do on the defensive end and trust that the work that we put in offensively will come to fruition.
All right, thank you, Coach, and we'll be right back with more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports. And we welcome you back inside of the Chaifetz Arena, Tucker Austin and Madi Dembele here. We've got some starting lineups for you ahead of the Fordham Rams and the St. Louis Billikens clash here tonight. For the St. Louis Billikens, it's going to be 3 guards, a forward, and a center tonight, Madi. We've got Hannah Wallace, Kennedy Calhoun, Brooklyn Gray are your guards. Tiara Simon is your forward, and Markavia Shavers is going to be your center for the St. Louis Billikens. For the Fordham Rams tonight, it's going to be Taylor Donaldson at the guard, and that is the only guard in the starting 5 tonight for the Fordham Rams. Sending out 4 forwards tonight, it'll be Carissa Antoine, Irene Murua, Anastasia Veljovic, and Rose Nelson for the Fordham Rams. Madi, between these two teams, you look at this Fordham starting lineup, you look at the St. Louis starting lineup, whose name pops out to you? Who's going to have a big night tonight?
Well, interestingly enough, I think the question should be whose name is not there that should be there. And if you're looking on the side of the home team, Billikens, Peyton Kennedy, where are you? A big-time offensive threat with versatile size and shooting ability. 13.2 points per game. She is the current team leader. Graduate, 5'11", forward out of Rockford, Illinois. She also shoots 95.8, practically 96% from the free throw line. She is efficient. She can fill it up. And it's a question as to why she's not here. Perhaps injury, perhaps some other reason. But if you're in St. Louis, you want to look the way of 32.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We'll keep an eye on that as the game progresses. We'll see if 32 makes her way into this game. But for the Fordham Rams tonight, last game against URI, it's no secret the offense was not firing on all cylinders, and we talked a little bit to Coach B about it before the game. The Rams just couldn't really get much going offensively in the last game. This is going to be a huge game to see if they can kind of right the ship and get back on track against a Billikens team that's given up the most points per game in the A10 conference this season.
Yeah, and again, for that last game for Fordham, it wasn't a problem with the defense. Again, that was the 12th time that season that the Rams have held an opponent to under 60, but the offense simply could not go. The basket just seemed too small for the Fordham Rams. 60. That is the magical number that I challenge you to, Tucker Austin, because when the Fordham Rams score 60 points, they are 10-3 on the season. That's what they're going to have to focus on. But Coach Bridgette Mitchell stressed that that is not something that they focus on. They go back to the basics. Like I always say, a good mother the basket, play defense, small, run out in transition, and get easy scores at the basket. That is the match why you currently have 4 forwards out there Tucker Austin, because when the Fordham Rams score 60 points, they are around 60.8 on the season. That's what they're going to have to focus on.
Yeah,
but Coach Bridgette Mitchell stressed that is not something that they focus on. They go back to the basics. Like I always say, a good mother the basket, play defense, run out in
the Atlantic 10 this season in Taylor Donaldson. We can expect some fireworks in this game considering how many points that St. Louis tends to give up. However, if Fordham's defense can lock them up and lock up their shooters, Brooklyn Gray in particular, because she is excellent around the perimeter and from long range two-point range, Brooklyn Gray could be a problem in this game, but like you mentioned, if Peyton Kennedy is not in this lineup tonight, Fordham has one less person to worry about, and they can offer more resources to defend Brooklyn Gray.
It may be one less person, but like you said, number 5, I wanted to get to her really quickly. Brooklyn Gray, 12 points per game, jack of all trades, perimeter threat with passing and rebounding ability. No Peyton Kennedy for Brooklyn Gray. It should be no problem.
And we're just about ready for tip-off here. The Billikens in their home whites, Fordham in the road maroons. The tip goes to Brooklyn Gray of the Billikens off the hand of Antoine, and we're underway. Bringing it across half court, it's Calhoun. Calhoun sends it across to Gray. Now Gray has it on the left wing. She's looking for options, guarded by Rose Nelson at the three-point line. Now it goes inside for Markavia Shavers. She moves in the post on Morwa and gets the bucket. Markavia Shavers with a nice move in the paint, and the Billikens have a 2-0 lead. Taylor Donaldson has it now for the Rams across the Billikens logo at center court. She finds Carissa Antoine on the right wing. Antoine dribbles from the right to the left, all the way into the lane and goes up with the lay. Carissa Antoine answers, and we're tied at 2. 9:22 to go in the first.
Very pleased with the growth of Carissa Antoine. She's a long-lived athlete with great instincts and ball skills. She has excellent hands. You love to see her put it on the floor because that means nothing but growth.
We've got a push against Veljovic, I believe. Yeah, it's a push against Veljovic of the Rams. It'll be an inbound for the Billikens. The referee awaiting a Billiken to come take it, and it's going to be Tiara Simon, guarded by Carissa Antoine. Simon gets it inbounds for Calhoun.
Calhoun's guarded by Veljovic on the left wing. She moves across to the top of the key, now sends it to the right for Brooklyn Gray. Her right wing three is airballed, and it goes out of bounds. And it'll be a turnover here. 9:06 to go here in the first quarter, 2-all. Inbounded by Carissa Antoine to Taylor Donaldson. Now back to Antoine. She gets it down court for Rose Nelson. Rose Nelson on the left wing. She moves across to the right and into the paint. Nearly loses the ball, regains possession, finds Veljovic in the right corner, now finds Morua on the low block. She sends it back up to the left wing. It's Rose Nelson. Nelson sends it up top for Taylor Donaldson. Donaldson moves into the lane, goes up with the left hand. It's no good. Off the rim, rebounded by Donaldson. She gets her own board, gets the layup, and Fordham has a 4-2 lead.
And Fordham, going back to what they know best, it's the rebounding, 37.8 per game. They out-rebound their opponents by about 4. So they're liable to crash the glass at any moment.
Billikens trying to get the offense working. Kennedy Calhoun calling the play. From 4 feet past the three-point line, she finds Brooklyn Gray, moves around a screen, looking for an option. She finds Tiara Simon up top. Simon with the handoff to Calhoun. She's guarded by Rose Nelson. Moves into the paint. Antoine reaches in, and there's a travel. Carissa Antoine put the pressure onto Kennedy Calhoun in the paint, gets the call, and Fordham gets the turnover.
Again, Carissa Antoine is on it like white on rice. Long-limb athlete, excellent, and she's able to force a turnover going Fordham's way.
Here's Antoine with the ball at the three-point line. She drives inside and then hesitates. Morwa with the ball on the right wing, and she finds Antoine. Antoine out to Rose on the outside. Rose Nelson moving left to right at the top of the key. She picks up the dribble and now finds Taylor Donaldson. Donaldson guarded by Calhoun. Donaldson right to left, now moves into the paint, goes up for the layup. It's short. Morwa with the rebound. She goes up. A lot of contact, but no call. Calhoun with the rebound. Quickly the other way go the Billikens. Calhoun fires a pass through to Markavia Shavers, but it's through her hands and out of bounds. Another turnover. 7:35 to go here in the first.
Little nugget to watch here. Taylor Donaldson on her left knee there, wearing a little bit of a brace, a little bit of a protection. She's moving well as of right now, but it's definitely something to watch as the game progresses.
Donaldson with the ball now at half court. Now she finds Rose Nelson on the left wing. She finds Donaldson in the right wing. It's no good off the front of the iron. That three from Taylor Donaldson. Going the other way are the Billikens now. It's Brooklyn Gray. Brooklyn Gray moves into the paint, picks up the dribble. Now she finds Hannah Wallace for the short two. It's no good. Morwa with the tough rebound for the Rams. Taylor Donaldson moving it the other way for Fordham now. 4-2 Rams, ticking just under 7 minutes here in the first quarter. Rose Nelson with it on the left wing. Antoine sets a screen. Nelson moves around it. Now she finds Veljovic on the right wing. Veljovic dribbles into the paint in the low block. She's double teamed. She goes up for the layup. It's no good off the front of the rim. Rebounded there by Tiara Simon. The Billikens move it quickly now the other way. It's Calhoun in the paint. She finds Simon wide open at the top of the key, and she drills the three. Tiara Simon gives the Billikens a 5-4 lead with 6:27 to go here in the first.
And the Billikens are a team that only shoots 24% from three, so they'll take any single three-pointer that they can get.
Rose Nelson with it now for the Rams after the pass from Taylor Donaldson. And there's going to be a travel here against Rose Nelson somehow. I'm not sure how that call is even possible because Rose Nelson was dribbling the ball as she came across.
Bit of a buffer there. She was unsure of where the dribble handoff opportunity was. There was simply no release, and because of that, she takes one step too many, going the way of the Billikens as they have the advantage 5-4.
A couple swaps here for the Fordham Rams. Taya Davis is in now, as well as Shea Harris. It is Brooklyn Gray with it on the left wing for the Billikens. Now Tiara Simon top of the key. Taylor Donaldson guards Hannah Wallace. Gets her hand on the ball and it gets away from Wallace, but she regains possession. Tries to get it to Calhoun, but it's tipped away by Davis, and now a kick ball by Taylor Donaldson. Really tenacious defense from Donaldson and from Taya Davis, who just stepped on the court for the Rams.
A+ defensive possession there for the Fordham Rams. Taylor Donaldson plays both sides of the ball there. 42 steals on the season. Blows up the initial screen and roll action there, forcing the Billikens to go through their progressions. If they come up short, they're going to have another crack at this, still up a single point.
Peyton Kennedy now checks into the game for the Billikens, so no question on where she is now as she finds Calhoun, and now the dribble handoff for Gray. Gray, short jump shot from the left side is no good. The rebound and the shot is no good again. That was Simon on the rebound and the putback, also no good. It's still 5-4 Billikens, 5:30 to go here in the first quarter. Shea Harris with it for the Rams on the right wing. She moves to the top of the key now as she's guarded by Brooklyn Gray. Handoff to Taylor Donaldson. She moves to the right wing, picks up her dribble, fires a pass inside wildly there. She was looking for Kayla Berry under the basket, but it goes through her hands and out of bounds. It's going to be a turnover against the Fordham Rams.
Yeah, Donaldson looks the way of Coach Bridgette Mitchell, says, my bad, but the idea was the right one. The weak side cut there by Kayla Berry was wide open. Good intent there to try to get the ball to her, just a little bit out of her reach. But if Fordham could get that going, then the Billikens have a problem.
Kennedy Calhoun has it for the Billikens. She moves it inside for Simon. Simon hands off to Calhoun now under the basket. Calhoun, a backwards layup is no good off the glass. Taya Davis with the rebound, and she's reached by Kennedy Calhoun immediately after the rebound. And that is going to take us to our first stoppage under 5 minutes here. 4:59 on the clock here in the first quarter, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Live from the Big Easy, WFUV Sports has you covered for all things Super Bowl 59.
I'm Will Talent.
And I'm Evan Harkin.
We're two of your Super Bowl 59 beat reporters,
keeping you up to date on all of the events during Radio Row from New Orleans.
Will Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs make history with their third straight Super Bowl victory?
Or will Saquon Barkley and the Eagles soar to their second Super Bowl win in franchise history?
Catch all of the action live from Radio Row on our YouTube page at WFUV Sports.
And follow along for live updates at the big game on Sunday, February 9th.
WFUV Sports, your home for Super Bowl 59 coverage.
And we welcome you back inside a very loud Chaifetz Arena here in St. Louis, Missouri, where the St. Louis Billikens lead the Fordham Rams 5-4. 4:59 left on the clock here in the first quarter. We're in the midst of the first media timeout. And Madi, Kennedy Calhoun she's been moving the ball primarily for the St. Louis Billikens tonight, and we'll probably see plenty more of her tonight, considering the fact that the other Kennedy, Peyton Kennedy, on this team just checked into the game after not being in the starting lineup, Madi.
Yeah, Kennedy Calhoun, I mean, she's been dictating most of the offense for the Billikens there. But I want to talk about her defense. The Billikens average 9.9 steals per game in comparison to their opponents' 8.3, and the culprit is number 4, Kennedy Calhoun, senior 5'5" guard, but she is a speedy defensive-minded perimeter player, adept at jumping in the passing lanes and at point of attack defense. 73 steals on the season. She is the team leader. However, at the same time, interestingly enough for Fordham, she leads the team for the season in personal fouls at 62. So she is a zero-sum. She's either going to cry that ball away from you or grab a little bit of skin there. So if you're Fordham, you're keen on her defensively. You're looking at what you can do to get her in foul trouble. Maybe you're embellishing a little bit because you don't want her to get her hands in the cookie jar because she eats it up.
Yeah, and it's one steal for the Billikens early on, although it might be too early to be talking about the extra stats. It's Taya Davis for the Fordham Rams to begin play once again. She has it moving left to right. Now she picks up her dribble on the right side and sends it up top for Taylor Donaldson. She puts it on the floor and now finds Taya Davis. Taya Davis moving inside. She tries to get it to Morua, excuse me. But the ball gets away, and it's going to be Peyton Kennedy with the steal. Now quickly the other way go the Billikens. It's Kennedy Calhoun moving inside, but the ball gets away. She finds an outlet. And now it's Simon with it. Up top, it's Calhoun on the right wing, moving right to left. Calhoun guarded closely by Taylor Donaldson. She moves inside with the underhanded layup and kisses it off the glass. 7-4 Billikens with 4:10 to go in the first quarter.
Read the scouting report for Kennedy Calhoun and read Speedy in all capital letters. Fordham, look out.
7-4 Billikens. Taya Davis with it, and there's a kick ball. This time it's against Hannah Wallace of St. Louis. Anastasia Veljovic checks in for Morwa. Emma Wilson-Saltos checks into the game for Taylor Donaldson for the Fordham Rams. It's Kayla Berry, Emma Wilson-Saltos, Anastasia Veljovic, Taya Davis, and it's Shea Harris out there for the Fordham Rams. Now Taya Davis with it. Moves to the left wing and now moves into the left block. She loses the ball again. And this time it is Simon, I believe, but she's quickly fouled by Wilson-Saltos immediately after she picks up the steal. Madi, not a great possession there for the Fordham Rams.
Yeah, and it's something that they've been stressing all year long. 18.5 turnovers per game for the Fordham Rams. Actually one less than their opponents, but you want to bring that number closely and surely to zero as much as possible. And especially earlier on in the game when the baskets become easy, you don't want to give the basketball away.
So it's Kennedy Calhoun back on the ball for the Billikens, and she hands it off to Mia Bergstrom. Now it's Calhoun once again. Bergstrom's looking for space. Calhoun dribbling on Taya Davis. She hands it off for Peyton Kennedy. From short two-point range, it's no good. A quick rebound, and they find Simon inside, but she's fouled as she goes up for the shot. So an interesting sequence there. A loose ball for a long time under the basket after the missed two-point by Peyton Kennedy. And Tiara Simon will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws.
Yeah, the basketball is all about read and react there. Peyton Kennedy with the one-touch pass to get it back to Simon under the basket. Simon's not able to come up with the points, but she's here at the charity stripe.
Simon makes the first. She's a 77% free throw shooter in this season. Through 20 games, a 7.3 point per game scorer, 9.9 rebounds as she misses the second. Emma Wilson-Saltos with the rebound, and Fordham gets going the other way. It's Taya Davis. On the right wing, she calls Veljovic up. Now it's Veljovic on the ball for the Rams. Veljovic is guarded by Simon. Now Veljovic, the ball is poked away. She finds Carissa Antoine up top. Antoine moves inside and fires the ball over Emma Wilson-Saltos' head. I believe she thought Wilson-Saltos would still be out wide, but Saltos crashed the board, and Carissa Antoine fired the ball over her head.
Miscommunication there. She thought she had a little bit more leverage on that pass, but Saltos trained to crash inside there. Fordham, no good. They'll have another chance right here.
Taya Davis inbounding for the Rams. She finds Shea Harris in the left corner. Shea Harris pulls for 3 from the left corner, and it's good. I believe it was a 3. I think it's being counted as a 2. Her foot must have been on the line, but it's quickly the other way go the Billikens. Mia Bergstrom misses a right wing 3. Rebound is loose. It's picked up by Shavers. Shavers finds Calhoun. Calhoun dribbling across the paint. She finds Peyton Kennedy outside for 3. It's no good. It's rebounded by Markavia Shavers, but taken away quickly by Shea Harris. Now it's Taya Davis on the left wing. Davis looking for options now, brings an Antoine screen. Over to Harris and now back over to Davis. Davis on the left wing. Davis dribbling inside, now finds Harris in the corner. Harris's 3 is no good. Loose rebound, Calhoun falls to the floor with the ball, and there's gonna be a jump ball, possession arrow to the Billikens. Or excuse me, I believe that's the Fordham Rams.
Again,
Yeah.
I'm hyper encouraged by the fact that Shea Harris is taking more threes. Love to see it from her. 3-level wing scorer who works within both the flow of the game and in isolation. She's a technical foul free throw shooter. She's the one that they go to other than Taylor Donaldson whenever the offense falls flat. So whenever she could get them up from behind the range, it's all money.
Inbound for the Fordham Rams from Taya Davis goes to Shea Harris. Now into Morwa, who just checked in. She finds Veljovic in the right corner. That 3 is long. Morwa with the rebound, and she's fouled on the floor. Morwa having just checked in for Emma Wilson-Saltos.
And you'll take that all day. Again, the best three-point shots, the highest percentage three-point shots are the ones generated from the low post where teams tend to double team. So if Stas could get those up and Anastasia Veljovic could get those up, they'll take those all day.
Carissa Antoine has it for the Rams just outside of the paint. Now to Morwa inside, and she gets the nice touch off the glass. Rene Morwa ties the game at 8 with 1:50 to go in the first quarter. Now it's Brooklyn Gray in the paint for the Billikens. They do move fast. Up for the layup is Shantaria Anyumeli. It's no good, and the ball gets away. Rolls out of bounds, and it's going to stay Fordham ball. Or stay Billikens ball, rather. Inbound going to come from Shantaria Anyumeli. Now it's Shavers with it. Dribble handoff for Calhoun. Kennedy Calhoun finds Peyton Kennedy on the left wing. Her three is long. And I believe it hit out of bounds after going long, and it will be Fordham's ball. 1:28 to go here in the first quarter. We're all tied at 8.
Yeah, Rebecca Tillett, within her 3rd season here at St. Louis University, love the way that she has her team running in transition. Fordham scoring that last basket, tying the game, 1:28 left. But there they go, running in transition. They almost get it to go. Keep it up, and it may work in your favor.
Taya Davis finds Veljovic on the right wing. Veljovic moves it inside for Carissa Antoine. She tries to find Murwa inside, but great job by Kennedy Calhoun to get in the lane. Calhoun going the other way for the Billikens. She moves it outside for Anyumeli. Anyumeli goes up for the layup, but it's no good. Rebounded there by Shea Harris. The ball is still loose. It's stripped away from Harris and goes out of bounds, but it's going to stay Billikens' ball here. 1:03 now left to go in the first quarter.
And again, we can't stress it enough with Kennedy Calhoun. She jumps into the passing lanes, and she's amazing at the point of attack. You have to watch out. You have to play clean basketball, protected at all costs.
Peyton Kennedy took the inbound from Calhoun. Kennedy Calhoun is going to be called for the foul immediately after the inbound, and it'll be Fordham ball the other way.
And there she goes with a foul, so this may work in Fordham's favor again. She is the player of the watch for the Billikens and for Fordham.
Taya Davis with it for the Rams. Kennedy Calhoun bringing a press now at half court. Carissa Antoine steps up to help Taya Davis. Taya Davis now gets it back on the left wing, and she finds Shea Harris up top. Shea Harris moves around to Carissa Antoine's screen, fires for 2. It's no good off the left iron, rebounded by Veljovic. Veljovic dribbles into the left corner, now finds Shea Harris up top, wide open for 3. Harris is no good. A good shot there for Shea Harris, but no dice for the Rams. Quickly the other way come the Billikens. Anyumeli stops with the ball at half court. She calls out the offense. Excuse me, it's Kennedy Calhoun now after the dribble handoff. And it's another dribble handoff to Anyumeli. Now it's with Simon on the left wing. Tiara Simon sends it back to Kennedy Calhoun. Billikens dribbling it down to the final seconds here in the first quarter. Under 5 seconds now. 3 seconds, Peyton Kennedy dribbles into the paint. Puts up the layup, and it's no good just as the buzzer expires. 8-all after the first quarter of play. That's 8 for the Fordham Rams and 8 for the St. Louis Billikens. We're all tied after the first quarter of play, but we'll be right back after we send it back to the studio for your one-on-one scoreboard update with Luis Andrade.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Kicking things off with NBA action tonight. The Knicks host the Lakers at the Garden. The tip-off is at 8:30 p.m. Heading down to Brooklyn, the Nets face off against the Rockets at Houston. The score there is 13-11 Nets in the first quarter. Skating on to the NHL, the New York Islanders and Tampa Bay Lightning face off, with the Lightning leading 1-0 in the second period. Down to the nation's capital, the Capitals face off against the Jets. The Jets lead 3-2 in the second period. Recapping men's A10 action today, your Fordham Rams lost in a close one to the Bonnies. The final score was 74-72. Over in Pittsburgh, Duquesne lost to the UMass in 62-53. Heading down south, VCU blocked the Richmond Spiders 90-49. On the women's side of the A10, George Mason beat Dayton 86-53 earlier this afternoon. The St. Joseph Hawks visit and beat the George Washington Revolutionaries 57-42. For a couple of top 25 matches, UConn versus Marquette score is 14-6 in the first half. Heading over to some SEC action, Texas A&M Aggies face off against the South Carolina State Bulldogs. The tip-off is at 8:30. The Kentucky Wildcats host the Arkansas Razorbacks at 9 p.m. I'm Luis Andrade with your scoreboard updates.
And welcome back to the Chaifetz Arena here in St. Louis, Missouri. Thank you very much, Luis Andrade, for that one-on-one scoreboard update. You'll hear him again at the half on the halftime show and then after the third quarter of play. But Madi, you talked to me during that break. You said you wanted to mention how low scoring this first quarter was, Madi. So what did you see during the first 10 minutes?
Yeah, I got to tell you, whenever you look up at a scoreboard and you only see 8 points scored between two teams, 16 for the total, you might think that's a bad thing. Entering the second quarter, you want to juice up your offense, but I think it's a testament to the defense that's being played. Both teams are frustrating each other making them go into their progressions, making them do things that they don't necessarily want to do. It's not their first, second, maybe not even their third option there. So for both teams, they get an A+ with that, and I love a good old-fashioned defensive slugfest. I don't know about you, Tucker, but I'm all smiles on this end.
Well, I gotta say, there were a handful of plays during that first half where I was kind of just like staring at the floor wondering why did they push the pace so much. There was a lot of fast breaking and a lot of back and forth movement, but a lot of sloppiness in the fast break, a lot of missed passes, a lot of unforced errors that created turnovers. So we'll see if both teams can tighten things up a little bit on the offensive side in this second quarter. But we are underway in the second quarter now as Tiara Simon inbounds to Kennedy Calhoun. She's guarded by Shea Harris, moves just inside the three-point line and now retreats back to half court. Calhoun sends it inside for Brooklyn Gray, and now back out to Calhoun. Calhoun dribbles into the paint. The ball gets away from her, and it's going to be a foul against Kennedy Calhoun on the loose ball, and it's going to go the way of the Fordham Rams.
It's the usual suspect, Taylor Donaldson there, your leading scorer, digging for the basketball, even with the brace on that left knee. That's nothing but heart and dedication, blood, tears, and that bleeding of maroon.
Taylor Donaldson has it for the Rams. Dribble handoff attempted to Rose Nelson, but Brooklyn Gray got right in there and stopped the handoff right at the start. It looked like a football play, Madi, when a D lineman gets in the backfield and breaks up the handoff. That was something.
Yeah, we talk about Kennedy Calhoun leading this team in steals, but Gray has 33 of her own.
It's Shea Harris, and now it's Taylor Donaldson for the Fordham Rams. Donaldson has it, and she sends it to Carissa Antoine. She finds Morwa inside in the paint, but she has to send it back out to Kayla Berry. It's going to stay with the Fordham Rams as it was tipped out of bounds by a St. Louis Billiken. Shea Harris will inbound. She finds Taylor Donaldson in the left wing, and she brings it back up top. Taylor Donaldson sends it to Morwa. Morwa backs into the paint, puts up the layup. It's no good just as the shot clock expired, but the Billikens go quickly the other way. Transition pass, and the layup is no good from Arcavia Shavers, rebounded by Antoine. Ticking just under 9 minutes here in the second quarter. We're still tied at 8. Taylor Donaldson dribbles into the paint. It's tipped away by Kennedy Calhoun, and it's going to stay with the Fordham Rams.
8:56 left to go in quarter number 2. No one opening up scoring yet ever since the first, but Fordham has to be impressed with the passing, getting it in those little pockets there.
Shea Harris quickly with the 3 off the inbound, but it's no good. Rebounded there by Brooklyn Gray. Gray brings it down the other end, coast to coast, into Rose Nelson, and it's a charge. Rose Nelson putting her body on the line for the Fordham Rams, taking the charge and winning the turnover.
Rose Nelson, 12 blocks on the season. She has great positional size with underrated ball handling, passing, and movement. She holds up that big frame, but she's able to turn and run with the best of them as opposed to just sliding her feet. She gets the offensive charge. Fordham basketball.
Taya Davis brings it up for the Rams, sends it to Carissa Antoine. Antoine sends it back to Taya Davis. Now Davis moves into the paint. She sends it out for Taylor Donaldson. Her right wing 3 is no good. It hit the iron twice, but it's going to stay with the Fordham Rams as the rebound was tipped by a Billiken.
Slower start here for Taylor Donaldson's Fordham star here. You worry she's not getting enough lift on her shot, given the fact that she does have a minute injury to the left, but we'll see how it progresses.
Carissa Antoine moves inside and is no good on the layup off the front iron. It's rebounded there by Hannah Wallace, and the Billikens are in transition once again. It's Brooklyn Gray. She hands off for Kennedy Calhoun, who goes inside to Marcavia Shavers. Shavers backs up on Antoine. Antoine gets up for the block. Carissa Antoine with a huge block on Marcavia Shavers to keep this game tied at 8.
And that's pure basketball feel there. She's made of basketball fiber. Straight up in the air, keeps it kosher. Doesn't foul the ball handler as she makes her attack there. Carissa Antoine having herself a game so far in this one.
Yeah, and a little emotion shown towards the bench by Carissa Antoine after that block. It was a big one. 8:08 to go here in the second quarter as the inbound comes to Calhoun on the left wing. Calhoun brings it under the basket. She sends it inside for Hannah Wallace, and her layup is good. That's a great find by Kennedy Calhoun and a better layup by Hannah Wallace to give the Billikens the 10-8 lead. Taya Davis has it now for the Rams. She brings it to the right wing, dribble handoff for Taylor Donaldson. Donaldson moves all the way around from right to left, and hands it off to Rose Nelson. Rose Nelson dribbles into the paint, and there's going to be an offensive foul, this time called against Rose Nelson. So she takes a charge on one end, commits a charge on the other end.
Yeah, she was called for one similar going back to last game. A little bit too much chicken wing for the officials, so they're going to get her on that one. 10-8. Fordham still within this game, very much so, with 7:42 left to go in quarter number 2.
Rose Nelson goes to the bench briefly. Anastasia Veljovic out there now for the Rams with Antoine, Davis, Morwa, and Donaldson. Brooklyn Gray is trapped on the left side. She finds an open man in the corner, and it's Tiara Simon with the 2-point jumper to give the Billikens a 4-point lead. Fordham gets the ball in and is working quickly. Veljovic up to the 3-point line on the left wing. Fakes the dribble handoff and now sends it to Antoine, but the ball gets away from Antoine on the pass. It's picked up immediately by Simon. She finds Wallace. Now it's out for Calhoun. Calhoun dribbling on Taylor Donaldson. And they're going to call a foul here on Taylor Donaldson as Kennedy Calhoun drove into the lane.
A little bit of hesitancy there by Hannah Wallace. You see in transition, you have the smaller Taya Davis on you. You think better than to attack that rather than just give up the basketball in an instant. Don't hurry for the offense to set within the half court. You got to take the opportunity when such arises. You have about a 5-inch reach advantage, so you should be able to make good on that.
Isabella Tillett now, the oldest daughter of head coach Rebecca Tillett, checks in for Brooklyn Gray. She has the ball now on the left wing and hands it off to Calhoun. And there's going to be an offensive foul called off the ball against Markavia Shavers that gives Fordham the ball right back. So a lot of interesting foul calls to start this game, Madi, on both ends, keeping the scoring very low.
Yeah, that's been another part, not just the great defense, but both teams can't seemingly seem to get out of their own way.
Taya Davis has it now for the Rams. She's guarded at half court by Shantaria Anyumeli. Donaldson has it now on the right wing, guarded by Kennedy Calhoun. Now Brooklyn Gray picks her up, and now Calhoun picks her up again. Taylor Donaldson works into the paint, fires the layup off the glass. It doesn't get to the rim. Rebounded by Wallace, and the Billikens transition. Calhoun moves it inside for Simon. Simon looking to get it back outside. Backs up into Morwa, but it's no good on the layup. Veljovic with the rebound. Taya Davis moving it up for the Rams with numbers. Taya Davis fires up the layup, but it's no good. Long over the rim. Morwa with the rebound. She tries to go up, but it's blocked by Simon. Morwa gets the ball again. Gets it to Carissa Antoine on the right side for 2. That's no good, and there's a foul called on the floor against the St. Louis Billikens. 6:10 to go here in the second quarter. The Billikens lead by 4 and have the basketball, Madi.
A high-quality shot there by Carissa Antoine indeed, going back to that far side baseline shot. Coach Bridget Mitchell telling them to run in transition. Great heads-up play there. Get you points in the flow of the game.
Taylor Donaldson with it now for the Rams. She sends it inside for Morwa. And they're going to call an offensive foul here against Irene Morwa. They call the elbow again as she backed up into the paint to try and make some space. Bridget Mitchell pleading her case to the referee here right in front of us as Tillett brings it up for the Billikens. It's Tillett, and she finds Anyumele. Now Tillett again, and now it's back to Brooklyn Gray, who's back on the floor. Gray looks off her defender, takes the short 2 from inside the free throw line, and it's no good. 5:45 to go here in the second quarter. Taya Davis moving into the paint. She throws it off the leg of Hannah Wallace and out of bounds. Play stopped with 5:40. Still 12-8, the Billikens lead the Fordham Rams. Anastasia Veljovic with it now for the Rams on the right wing after the inbound. She finds Morwa inside. She's trying to find space. Finds Carissa Antoine at the top of the key, but she loses the ball. Tiara Simon with the strip. Carissa Antoine working back on Simon, trying to regain possession, but the Billikens will set up. Tillett goes inside to Gray. Gray working into the paint with 2 defenders, and the jumper's no good. Rebounded by Taya Davis. She fires it down court for Carissa Antoine. Brooklyn Gray jumps over Carissa Antoine, trying to block on the pump fake, but the layup is no good once again. Now the other way come the Billikens. It's Brooklyn Gray. Guarded by Taylor Donaldson. She moves inside. Off the glass is no good. She gets her own rebound and fires it up off the rim, but a foul is called.
Donaldson there pleading her case, saying that she kept it clean, arms straight up there. 4:54 left to go in the second half, 12-8 in both quarters. Both teams seeming to come across buckets here. You saw it within that sequence, Tucker, that both teams were able to get high enough percentage shots, but again, it's with layups, it's wide open shots blown. So both teams, once again, not able to get out of their own way.
Yeah, Bridgette Mitchell not happy at all after that last possession. Really gave her team a bit of an earful at the start of this media timeout. But we have ticked under 5 minutes in the second quarter, so we will send it to a quick break. But we'll be right back with more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
The one-on-one.
What's up, everyone? I'm Lou Orlando.
I'm Nick Guzman.
And I'm Chaz McAdams.
We're your broadcasters for Fordham men's basketball.
Led by Jackie Johnson, Keith Urgo's Rams are looking to make waves in the 100th anniversary season at the Rose Hill Gym.
We've got you covered for the highs, the lows, the X's and O's as Fordham takes on the gauntlet of the A10.
Don't miss a game. 90.7 FM WFUV is the home of Fordham men's basketball.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. Tucker Austin joined by Madi Dembele. There's 4:54 to go in the second quarter. The St. Louis Billikens lead the Fordham Rams 12-8. And Madi, we talked about it in between quarters. We thought both teams needed to tighten it up a little bit and try to get less sloppy in transition. But really, we've seen neither team improve in that regard.
Well, if we're going to give one team credit over the other, just as the scoreboard dictates, it goes the way of the Billikens here. In their home arena, the Chaifetz Arena, the pavilion, they've been able to bring, I would say, more of a silver lining than the visiting Fordham Rams. You look at the Billikens, they've been getting out in transition more. They've been a bit more of a proactive team, both offensively and defensively. They've been getting the higher percentage shots of the two, and they've hit some threes, while Fordham has hit absolutely nothing. You see it there on the big-time graphic. Fordham, 3-point percentage, 0. While the Billikens, while still sloppy, able to conjure up 20% here. So whether it be by the fact that they are the home team or that they're just feeling it a little more, they come out looking a little bit better.
And Fordham is still out-rebounding their opponent, which we've known this Rams team to do this season. That's pretty much been their identity for a majority of the season. But like you mentioned, the three-point shooting is not there again, and it dates back to last game against URI where they went 0 for 12 from beyond the arc. Tonight they start 0 for 6. They're now 0 for 18 on their last 18 three-point attempts. You sort of have to wonder, when is one finally going to drop for the Fordham Rams, as Brooklyn Gray is at the line. She misses the first free throw.
Again, very, very small basket for both teams. Brooklyn Gray, uncharacteristic free throw miss there.
Her 82 free throws made this season lead the Atlantic 10 as she makes the second of 2 to give the Billikens a 13-8 lead. The Rams want to push the pace. It's Veljovic in the right corner. Now she moves it to the left side for Kayla Berry, and she drills the 2. Kayla Berry finally breaks through for the Fordham Rams here in the second quarter. It's 13-10, but the Billikens are moving at blistering pace the other way. Brooklyn Gray with the ball on the right side near the block. She goes for the jumper and is fouled. She'll go back to the line for 2 more free throws.
A+ on both plays there. You see Kayla Berry, positionless, defensive-minded, fort, but her game offensively has opened up. She loves that little mid-range shot from about 17. And Brooklyn Gray with a heads-up play, veteran-savvy move to get into the shoulder pump fake and draw the foul.
Gray misses the first of 2 again. Second time she's done that tonight. She's ready for the second free throw, and she drills it. So 1 of 2 again from the line for Brooklyn Gray. Taya Davis takes the inbound from Kayla Berry for the Rams. It's Berry, Harris, Davis, Morwa, and Veljovic for the Fordham Rams. Taya Davis on the left wing. Morwa sets a screen. Davis finds Morwa. She tries to get it up, but I believe she was fouled in the lane. Yeah, they're going to call a foul there on, I believe, Brooklyn Gray. I believe it was Brooklyn Gray who they called the foul. Morwa will be at the line for 2 free throws.
And that's the absolutely wrong person to put at the free throw line. She's been second in scoring all year for the Fordham Rams there. Billed as a back-to-the-back center, and she's every bit of that.
Misses the first free throw, does Morwa, the 79% shooter from the stripe this season. She started all 20 games for the Fordham Rams this year. Morwa does not make the second, so 0 for 2 from the stripe goes Morwa. Much needed points for the Fordham Rams, and the Billikens moving things up as Fordham brings the full court press and gets the ball back. Great job by the Rams in their offensive half to get the ball back. Taya Davis with it now for the Rams at half court, standing on the Billiken logo. Now she moves across to the right. She's calling out her offense. Harris tries to move across to help Davis. She finds an open lane inside, puts up the layup, but it's too strong, and there's a foul on the floor. Not on the shot, but on the floor. It's going to be against Peyton Kennedy, so a big foul there. Could come into play later in the game if she picks up any more. Or Kayla Berry will go to the line, rather. Fordham is in the bonus now.
Bonus is in the bonus now.
So Kayla Berry goes to the line for the foul on the floor by Peyton Kennedy.
Still a very, very close game. Fordham in the bonus here. As she nails the first one, I don't mean to take your job, but 14-11, 350. She hits the second one, and Fordham is just a deuce away from tying this basketball game.
You took the words out of my mouth, Madi. Kayla Berry drills the second of 2 free throws. Fordham still bringing the full court press. Peyton Kennedy breaks that press, though, to Brooklyn Gray. Now she sends it to Anyumeli. Anyumeli sends it to Brooklyn Gray. Brooklyn Gray on the left wing. She brings a Simon screen, dribbles around it, inside with a no-look pass, tries to find Tillett, but it's going to be off Tillett's leg, out of bounds, and it's Fordham's basketball.
Ill-fated decision by Shuntaria Anyumeli. She's 4th in scoring on this team. You would think she would have a head full of steam going towards the basket. They appear to have Fordham beat on that press, but she gives the basketball up coming up with no score.
Taya Davis has it now for the Fordham Rams. She finds Shea Harris for the quick 2. It's no good off the right side of the iron. Morwa with the strong rebound. Backs up into the paint. Moves from right to left. Her layup is no good. Kayla Berry gets the rebound. She finds Shea Harris. Fordham will reset. Just about to tick under 3 minutes as Taya Davis drives into the lane. She goes to the floor, no call. Layup is no good. Rebounded here by Anyumeli. Anyumeli drives coast to coast, goes up for the layup, and she's fouled.
And again, if you're Shuntaria Anyumeli, that's the mentality you need to have. You felt like there was much to be desired on that last play there. Shea Harris with a great block attempt there. She gets a little bit too much skin for the referees. They're forced to blow their whistle there. 2:55, still 14-12. Interestingly enough, this game seems to be coming along, Tucker.
Rose Nelson checks in for Shea Harris now for the Fordham Rams. Taya Davis talking to Coach Bridgette Mitchell right in front of me as...
And Taya Davis, also another person not to be understated here. The rim pressure that she puts on the basketball court is second to none. It allows Fordham to crash the glass, grab so many offensive rebounds, and try the second chance at that. She's only 5'7", but she plays bigger than her size.
Second free throw here is going to be good for Anyumeli. 30-second timeout called by Coach Bridgette Mitchell. She wants to gather her Fordham Rams. They only trail by 3 here, 15-12. We'll keep it here during the 30-second timeout. 2:55 to go here in the first half of play. Fordham and St. Louis are both in the bonus now, so no more fouling unless you want to send someone to the free throw line for the rest of the half. So far for the Rams, the leading scorer is Kayla Berry, which you do not see that a lot for the Fordham Rams, Madi.
It's been a next man up mentality here. Fordham trying to abide by the rule of strength in numbers. Again, I love the way that her game in particular has opened up. She fell in love with a mid-range shot that seems to be loving her back. But Fordham has so many different people to kill you. And Taylor Donaldson, Irina Morwa. These players have not come together. So when you get others in the mix, it's usually a good sign.
Taya Davis, of course, on the ball for the Fordham Rams. She finds Rose Nelson on the left wing. Rose Nelson picks up her dribble and finds Morwa inside. 3 defenders crash her, and now Rose Nelson is wide open. She finds Veljovic in the corner. Her 3 is no good. Taya Davis regains possession at the top of the key after the loose ball. Rose Nelson has it now for the Rams on the right wing. Morwa sets a screen up high, and Rose Nelson moves right to left. She tries to go to Morwa inside. She tried to find Irene Morwa in the paint, but there was a defender right in the way. It was Anyumele. They're going to call the foul on Morwa as Precious Omashola checks in for Morwa.
Anyumele holding her head, fixing her headband there. Appears she's trying to plead a case of maybe there was some illegal action up top. Maybe someone pulled her ponytail there as she hit the ground hard to try to get that basketball back for the Billikens.
Tillett has it to start for the Billikens, and now it's over to Anyumele. Anyumele finds Simon, now Brooklyn Gray. The Fordham press is broken now. Billikens set up the offense. Brooklyn Gray now to Simon. Simon with the dribble handoff for Peyton Kennedy. Her 3 from the left wing is no good. Rebounded by Barry. Coach Bridgette Mitchell calling her play, and Taya Davis relaying it to her team as she finds Rose Nelson on the left wing. Rose Nelson looking for an option. She finds Taya Davis. Brooklyn Gray moves around a screen to keep guarding Davis. Davis moves into the paint. She tries to find Omashola inside, but the block by Tillett coming from behind Omashola. Ball gets away. Taya Davis gets it. She puts up a layup. It's no good. Coming down with the rebound is Veljovic, but they call it travel. Veljovic fell to the floor trying to rip the ball away, but none of the Billikens had their hands on it. She falls to the floor and is called for the travel.
There's a reason why Taya Davis leads this team in assists. They're nifty out of this corner of her eye. They're finding Omashola wide open. But again, Billikens getting back into play, blocking the shot and preventing the score altogether.
1:25 to go here in the second quarter. Full court press still for the Fordham Rams. It's just 15-12 St. Louis as Simon has it now with the dribble handoff to Tillett. Tillett sends it all the way inside for Brooklyn Gray. She puts up a shot that's no good. It was under the rim and never got over it. Taya Davis with the rebound. Taya Davis drives all the way into the lane, but the layup is no good. Rebounded by Tillett. Now a fast break for the Billikens. They have numbers. Peyton Kennedy finds Anyumele for the bucket. A huge layup for Anyumele and a great feed in transition by Kennedy. And the Billikens have a 5-point lead. It's 17-12 with 55 seconds to go here in the second quarter.
The St. Louis faithful, a little thirsty, and the Billikens coming out there and providing the juice, running out in transition as they've done all game long. Anyumele able to put herself between Ball and Davis, put it up with soft touch, 17-12. She has a chance for the 3-point play.
So end the foul for Anyumele. She'll attempt the 3-point play, and she makes the free throw. 18-12 the score now. The Billikens lead the Rams. Under 50 seconds to play here in the second quarter. Veljovic finds Rose Nelson. Rose Nelson dribbles inside, now finds Veljovic up top. She finds Omashola in the paint. Omashola working on her defender, and we've got another travel. This time it's on Precious Omashola in the paint, looking for space underneath, and it's another turnover by the Fordham Rams. 41.8 to go here in the second quarter.
You were happy with the way that play progressed, but if you're Veljovic, that pass has to be fired inside immediately to Omashola. Omashola had a bit of daylight to maybe get something up before the happy feet.
Kennedy to Tillett, and then Tillett fires it down court for Brooklyn Gray, immediately breaking the press. Brooklyn Gray moves inside, gets around Rose Nelson, gets a layup up. It's no good, but a foul on Precious Omashola will send Brooklyn Gray to the free throw line. Brooklyn Gray, we've already mentioned, excellent free throw shooter, although she is just 2 for 4 tonight. She has a chance to put the Billikens up by 8 here late in the first half. She misses the first free throw.
Again, a surprise miss there from Brooklyn Gray. These points add up now. That's her 3rd straight miss here at the free throw line.
Gray's second free throw is no good, but a rebound by Simon. and she saves it to Brooklyn Gray. Peyton Kennedy with it now on the left corner, and it's stolen away by Taya Davis on the pass to Simon. Taya Davis with a great play. Shot clock is turned off. Under 20 seconds to play here in the first half. Taya Davis will hold it for the Fordham Rams and look for the final shot of the half. Rose Nelson comes up for the dribble handoff. Rose Nelson goes around Veljovic. Rose Nelson finds an open 2 on the right side. It's short. Veljovic with the rebound. 2 seconds left. Veljovic goes up. It's blocked. And that is the end of the first half. So, the St. Louis Billikens, 18. The Fordham Rams, 12. And Madi, the Fordham Rams just have not looked good in this first half.
Yeah, it's a sentiment that we spilled going back into the last game. Defense has been played, but offense has not been made here for Fordham. 12 points. You only gave up 18, so that is a bright spot. 30 points total. But again, that last play perfectly sums up kind of your half. You're able to generate a shot. Rose Nelson able to put her defender on the ground. Put up the shot, no good. Veljovic comes in, second chance rebound. And again, it's just stopped shortly there. Fordham, much to be proud of, but again, much more to be desired here. They're still within it, 6 points. It's easy to make up, considering the fact that the Billikens have not also played their best brand of basketball. Much more for them to be encouraged about, but again, both teams slowly but surely breaking into this one. The second half should be a tale of two cities.
And with that, we'll send it back to the Rose Hill studio for the halftime show for Tucker Austin and Madi Dembele. We will be back for the second half of Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Welcome into halftime. I'm Grace McCarron here with Luis Andrade, as well as Kurt Sippel, our producer. On the producer mic, your Fordham Rams are currently down 18-12 against the St. Louis Billikens, and we're going to cover all of it right here on your WFUV Sports halftime report. So, fellas, let's just get it started here. Pretty low-scoring game. What did we see from Fordham and from St. Louis in this first half?
First of all, this is a big number that stands out to me. Fordham is 16%, shooting 16% from the field, and St. Louis is shooting 23%. This is nothing I've never seen before in my time watching basketball of any level, high school, college, professional, obviously, but like I'd never seen something like this, such a low-scoring game. And I think Kurt has a stat on that. This is like an historical night. I think we broke a record.
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
We're
so
close?
The historical record is that the most points combined score is 70. So that's in the whole game. I don't think that's going to be broken tonight.
No.
If it does get broken tonight, these teams are not going to be like, I think they might be walking back to the Bronx maybe. Just like both teams. I think both teams might have that because there's no way that a basketball team, a basketball professional college, it cannot be this bad the entire time. You know what I mean? Some team has to get hot. Fordham has the leading scorer in the A-10 in Taylor Donaldson. I mean, just like someone has to get going eventually. What is in the air in St. Louis?
Yeah.
Just like Lewis was saying, 16% from the field and 23% for the Billikens and 16 for the Rams. Like, that just doesn't happen consistently. I don't think I've ever watched a game where this has gone on for an entire game. And if it does go on for an entire game, the Monstars had to be involved in it.
Well, you guys mentioned a super low-scoring game. Fordham team high points-wise was, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, but Kayla Berry with 4. And then for SLU, it's Tiara Simon with 6. It's just not, there's not a lot to talk about here on offense. When you can't get anything going like this, and especially the Fordham women have been fantastic so far this season. They're 12-8 in the conference. They're 6-3. You kind of have to wonder, they've lost their last game as well, but you have to wonder, like, are they hitting a little bit of a rough patch here as we get further into conference play? Because that's a bad time to hit that kind of rough patch, Luis.
To look on the bright side of things right now, I'm seeing that the bench players are getting their time to shine. 6 points coming off the bench. That's half the team's points. You know, it's not saying much. But it's good to see that some of these girls are getting the playing time that they've been looking forward to and the chances to shine, especially when your star, Taylor Donaldson, is 2 points, 1 for 6, and 1 turnover.
I will say, Grace, most of the time that I've watched the Fordham women's basketball team, if a half gets out to a bad start for them, Coach Bridgette Mitchell has a way of going into the locker room, and I always like to say lighting a fire under her players, because that is, I feel like, what she does. Because automatically they come out and they always look better. I mean, the Rhode Island game that we watched, that I watched last week, I was sidelines producing with Madi, is that it wasn't the game itself. They were shooting poorly, but I will say in that second half of play, they looked much better than where they were at the time in the first half. And I think that this is the same thing that's going to happen now. I think it's like Madi said, the tale of two cities. I don't think that either coach is going to go into halftime and being like, great job, guys, let's keep it up how we're doing it. Mm-hmm. You have to change something. Something has to change. One thing is turnovers. Fordham's turnovers are really high. Same thing with St. Louis, is that the turnover rate is right now has been pretty high for both teams. And that just doesn't happen often for a Fordham team that, yes, turns the ball over often, does not take care of the basketball as much as some would think that they would want to. But, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because if you are able to take it back and play your brand of basketball, this is always what I like to say about Coach Bridgette Mitchell as well. She has a way of always showing her brand of basketball. If it's not only just the fact that she, buckles the seatbelt, play harder defense. Both teams have been playing good defense, as we can see, because this game's low scoring. It might be the low shot percentage, but Fordham's defense is still in some type of performance right now. So maybe that, man defense, if you continue to get steals on offense, these things will all add up eventually, and your scoring will start going up and up. And this is just something that we've seen from a Fordham women's team all year. So I expect it, and especially because most people did not expect them to be this good in the A-10. And it shows you that their stars, and Lewis, like they said, their bench, even when their stars might not be performing, their bench is still there to help and supplement points.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys touched on it a little bit with the turnovers, but looking forward to second half of basketball here, because there's 20 minutes left, a lot of play left. It is close, 18-12. Not a huge lead for the Billikens, but Luis, what do the Fordham Rams need to do in the second half in order to pull this one out?
Like Kurt said, they need to, obviously their defense has been working for them. They've been keeping this game close, even though it's been low shooting percentage. But I only see they have 2 points off turnovers. I think they need to take these chances defensively with all these steals, these blocks, and be able to transform them into points on the fast break or just basic turnovers. I feel like that would be the key to turning this game around for the Rams.
Definitely, Lewis. And I think that that's just something that Coach Bridgette Mitchell is going to go into the locker room and tell them. And I think that just in general, the statistics that we're seeing right now, field goal percentages from people like Taylor Donaldson, 1 for 6. Arene Marua, 1 for 3. They have to get into the paint more as well. That's something that you see Fordham being profitable all year. Right now they have 6 points in their paint. So that's all their bench points in the paint, and that's half their points are in the paint. And while you might not be able to shoot the 3 as efficiently today, only shooting from 3 right now 0 for 6. So, in my opinion, why keep taking the 3-point shot if you are able to have someone like Arene Marua who does her business in the paint? She is very scary when she's rolling down and charging to the rim, when she does her Kareem kind of sky hooks. Yeah. I love that move. And that kind of stuff for the Fordham women's team will rejuvenate them. Mm-hmm. Kind of things like that. You also have to have something to rally behind, because if you don't have something to rally behind, that's another very difficult thing. Like, if the scoring starts going up, it's like a big dunk in a basketball game. It gets the bench excited. Mm-hmm. So things like this, where you can have drawing the fouls, things like that, always get the bench rejuvenated back into the game. And that's exactly what Fordham needs, is the juice. They need some batteries. Get some AAAs out there.
Yeah, get some AAAs out there. That is the message that we are taking into the second half, but quick wrap-up of halftime. St. Louis is currently up 18-12 over the Fordham Rams in St. Louis. We will be back for the post-game show, but we are going to send it back to Tucker and Madi in St. Louis shortly. In just a few minutes, you will have your second half of Fordham Rams women's basketball And the halftime show is a production of WFUV Sports.
I'm Chaz McAdams.
And I'm Ben Oppenheimer.
And we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, the flagship podcast of Fordham Athletics.
We'll be talking about everything from football at Moglia Stadium
to hoops at the historic Rose Hill Gym.
Discussing the ins and outs of all Ram athletes, teams, and big games.
If you want to be part of the Ramily, then listen to On the Hill from WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Ben Oppenheimer reminding you to tune in to New York's longest-running sports call-in show, One-on-One. Catch One-on-One live on the WFUV Sports YouTube channel every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We'll catch you next Saturday on One-on-One.
Hey, it's Chaz McAdams here calling you to tune in to WFUV Sports One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. With hot takes covering all sports from the 5 boroughs and beyond, to interviews with some of the biggest names in sports media. We're live Saturdays on the WFUV Sports YouTube from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Come join us next Saturday for One-on-One.
What's up, everyone? I'm Will Talent.
And I'm Evan Harkin. We're two of your hosts for NFL Friday, WFUV Sports' exclusive NFL podcast.
From breaking down the weekly slate to fantasy football pickups, we've got you covered on all things around the NFL.
Stay tuned for our hosts' weekly picks as they compete against each other all season long.
Football is here, and so is NFL Friday.
What's up, everyone? I'm Evan Harkin, your New York Jets beat reporter for the 2024 season. Stay up to date with all things white and green from MetLife Stadium. From Aaron Rodgers touchdowns to Sauce Gardner interceptions, I've got you covered. So join me and Gang Green on Twitter at Ev Harkin and stay locked in with the JETS on WFUV, your home for New York sports.
How's it going, everyone? Will Talent here, your New York Giants beat reporter for the 2024 season. Follow alongside me at talent_Will on X to catch all of the updates on your New York football Giants from MetLife Stadium. With rookie sensation Malik Neighbors and big free agent acquisition Brian Burns, WFUV Sports is the place for Big Blue coverage. WFUV, your home for New York sports.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back inside of the Chaifetz Arena here in St. Louis, Missouri. Tucker Austin joined by Madi Dembele. just ahead of the start of the second half of play here between the Fordham Rams and the St. Louis Billikens. Fordham Rams women's basketball trails the St. Louis Billikens by a score of 18-12 after the first half. And Madi, we had a chance to go to the shoot-around before this game earlier today, and we saw the Fordham Rams working on their transition defense, working on stopping the fast break, but it doesn't seem like that shoot-around practice has translated into this game so far.
Yeah, let me throw a quick number at you right here. A little bit of storytelling. 70, lowest combined score for Fordham women's basketball is at 70. It was a game at Lafayette, January 18th, 1995. We just passed the 30-year anniversary of that mark. But what does that mean? That means that Fordham has the opportunity to do the same, but that's because not only of their great defense, but of the offense that cannot push it in transition. Again, the Billikens have done a wonderful job, whether it be Brooklyn Gray, whether it be Shavers, whether it be Peyton Kennedy, of getting the ball out and early and trying to put the ball in the basket as fast as possible. And it served them well. They're holding on to a 6-point lead, but you get the impression that it should be more. And if you're Fordham, you better catch up before it's too late.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it's a bit of a record-breaking performance so far, but not exactly the type of record that you'd like to be breaking if you're the Fordham Rams.
Some good, some bad in that same sentiment.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Fordham being the defensive team that they are, you'd expect a low combined score. So in that regard, you'd think it'd be good. But Fordham themselves have to put up some points here if they want to get ahead of St. Louis and win this game. But we've got 20 minutes of game left to play here in the second half, 10 minutes here in the third quarter. The inbound comes from Brooklyn Gray to Kennedy Calhoun, and we are underway here in the second half. Calhoun has it for St. Louis. The screen set by Shavers. Now Calhoun moves inside from the right wing. She sends it back up to Brooklyn Gray at the top of the key. Gray working on Donaldson. Bounce pass inside for Hannah Wallace. Her layups no good. Murwa with the rebound, and now Taya Davis comes the other way. Taya Davis stops short and sets up the Fordham offense. Now it's Carissa Antoine with it, just above the free throw line. Tries to hand off to Taylor Donaldson. It's nearly broken up by Brooklyn Gray. Now Donaldson drives into the paint, goes up with the left hand, and it's no good. Hannah Wallace with the rebound for the Billikens. Calhoun with it for St. Louis. She takes the two-pointer, and it's good. Two-point shot. No, it's going to be waved off. There's a foul on the floor as the shot was taken.
Came before Calhoun could get the shot off, so a little bit of a breather there. It's on the scoreboard. It's going to count 20-10 there.
Oh, so the bucket did count.
A little bit of switch. You thought that the foul
That's interesting.
came
the
before.
foul came just after the shot, so the bucket counts and the foul on the floor.
My eyes do, in fact, deceive me.
Yeah, so it's a foul against the Fordham Rams off the ball after the shot that gives the Billikens the ball and the 2-point.
Good job there, Tucker.
Ain't that something? It's Brooklyn Gray with it for the Billikens at the baseline. She'll inbound, and she finds Simon in the corner. Now it's all the way back around for Calhoun. Calhoun finds Shavers inside. She's working on Murwa on the block. Taylor Donaldson comes to help, but it doesn't matter because Shavers with the footwork and the lay. 22-12 Billikens, 8:47 to go here in the third quarter.
She seemed to be in a little bit of trouble there, but Shavers able to split the double team with the baseline pending, and she gets it up for two.
Inside goes Kayla Berry. Her layup's no good. It's rebounded by Donaldson. Taya Davis moves inside. She takes the floater, and it's good. Taya Davis finally gets one to go, and it's 22-14 St. Louis, 8:22 to go.
An all too familiar shot for Taya Davis. Again, she plays bigger than her size, and she puts excellent pressure on the rim. That's like money and muscle memory to her.
It's Brooklyn Gray in the right corner. She sends it all the way across court for Calhoun, but her left wing three is no good. Wallace gets the rebound, but she's stripped by Carissa Antoine. Quickly the other way go the Fordham Rams. Taya Davis sends it to Donaldson, and then the handoff back to Davis. Davis drives into the paint, finds another open floater, but that one's no good. Rebounded by Antoine. She puts it back up, and it's short. It's rebounded here by Markavia Shavers. Shavers gets it to Calhoun, who moves it the other way. She's at the free throw line, and now she finds a wide open Simons on the left wing. Her three is pure. Tiara Simon for three and gives the Billikens an 11-point lead, 25-14, 7:30 to go in the third.
She's touted as a monster in the paint, but she has great size to go along with that shooting ability, so she's able to step out and place it from three.
Mordwa working inside on Shavers now into a double team. The ball gets away, and it's out to Taylor Donaldson, who answers with a three. Taylor Donaldson drills one from the right wing, and it's 25-17 Billikens. Calhoun with it for St. Louis at half court. Moves up to the three-point line, picks up the dribble, gets it inside to Gray. She tries to pass it inside for Shavers, but it's going to be a jump ball, as that was Carissa Antoine who fell on it for the Rams and forced the jump ball. Possession arrow with the Rams, I believe, yes. Rose Nelson checks in. Emma Wilson-Saltos checks in. Antoine and Morwa take a seat. It's Nelson, Davis, Berry, Saltos, and Donaldson out there for the Fordham Rams. Taya Davis has it on the left wing. She finds Kayla Berry. Berry finds Rose Nelson. Rose Nelson looking for the dribble handoff, baits it and finds Donaldson under the basket. Now Taya Davis for three from the left wing. It's strong. Taya Davis too strong on the three-pointer, airs it out, and it goes out of bounds. It'll be Billikens ball, 6:36 to play in the third quarter.
A little bit of offensive identity there. It's exactly the kind of fervor you want to play with. It doesn't go, but that's something that's a strategy there that you want to employ.
Simon has it. Now Calhoun with it. Right wing high. Now moving right to left to the top of the key. Now back over to the right for Simon. She gets Barry to jump, moves in for the two-pointer, but it's no good. Rebounded by Brooklyn Gray. She finds Calhoun inside. She finds Shavers, but her layup's no good. And the second shot attempt, she's fouled by Kayla Berry. So nice job by Berry not to foul on the first one, but Shavers gets her own board and draws the foul on Berry on the second attempt, Madi.
Yeah, absolutely there. Again, 25-17, crashing the glass is the St. Louis Billikens. Fordham touted as a fantastic rebounding team, but the Billikens, 38.5 rebounds per game themselves, actually out-rebounding Fordham on the season, so they're no slouch on the glass.
Taya Davis guarding Calhoun in the paint. She drives, her layup's no good. Fight for the rebound. It's saved by Shavers to Anyumeli. Wide open Calhoun on the right wing. She thinks better of a three because she finds Anyumele wide open for three, and she wedges the basketball on the left side of the rim. A wedgie with the glass on the wide open three.
I think that's my first time ever witnessing a wedgie. They're almost like a unicorn. It's a myth until you see it.
It's definitely my first time calling a wedgie, I can tell you that much. Ball goes through to the delight of the Billikens fans despite it not counting. 25-17, the Billikens have the lead here. 5:48 to go in the third quarter. Inbound goes to Simon. She's guarded by Morwa. Simon backs into Morwa, goes up with the left hand. It's no good. Rolls over the bucket. Wilson-Saltos with the rebound for the Rams. Taya Davis has it at half court. She moves it to Rose Nelson. Handoff to Taya Davis. She drives inside. The floater is up and no good. Nearly rebounded by Calhoun, but Wilson-Saltos fights for it. Calhoun gets her hands on it and gets it away from danger. Anyumele with it now. Anyumele finds a target inside. It's Shavers, but it gets away. Taylor Donaldson now in transition for the Rams. Taylor Donaldson pulls for a short two, and it's good. Excuse me, a long two, just short of the three-point line. Taylor Donaldson's good there. A long pass down to Markavia Shavers, a bomb. And she's fouled on the ensuing layup, so another long pass for the Billikens. But it's now 25-19 St. Louis after the Taylor Donaldson 2. 5 minutes and 1 second to go here in the third quarter.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the old adage is early bird gets the worm, and St. Louis is that early bird looking for the worm, which is the proverbial score. Again, there they go in transition. Shavers ahead of nobody there. Wilson-Saltos able to catch up only to foul her, so she's here at the line.
And that foul works out for Wilson-Saltos as Shavers misses the first of two from the line. She's a 50% free throw shooter this season as she misses both. So 0 for 2 goes Shavers at the free throw line, and Fordham moves it quickly the other way. Taylor Donaldson moves it inside to Morwa. Morwa into the paint. backs down her defender, goes up with the layup. It's no good. Rebounded strong by Wilson Salto. She goes up, and there's contact, but no call. Rose Nelson tries to save, and she does.
It's going to stay here with Fordham.
Yes, it's going to be Rams ball, so a nice job by Rose Nelson there to throw it off of a defender. But that's going to bring us to our media timeout here in the third as we have 4:44 left to go in the quarter. We'll see you on the other side of this short break for more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
I'm Isabella Terracini.
And I'm Barrett Spreitzer. We're two of your hosts for College Gridiron, the exclusive home for all things college football on WFUV Sports.
Join us as we break down the biggest matchups of the week, Heisman hopefuls, and college football playoff previews.
Listen in on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Welcome back inside the Chaifetz Arena, where the St. Louis Billikens lead the Fordham Rams 25-19. 4 minutes, 44 seconds left on the clock in the third quarter. And Madi, there was a lot of contact on that last play before the whistle. Under the basket, Wilson Saltos trying to go up for a rebound, or trying to go up for a shot after a strong rebound. Seemed like there was a lot of contact down there, but there was no call before Rose Nelson made the save.
Yeah, head coach Bridget Mitchell heading over to the referees there, trying to plead her case on not just that call where Saltos got hammered across the arms there, but on a myriad of calls throughout the game. But if you're Fordham, your one silver lining is a familiar one. Taylor Donaldson coming together here. She quickly takes over the scoring responsibility for Fordham in 16 minutes already with 7 points. A little bit of a slower game for her here, but 3 of 9 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, and she's having the opportunities to again let it fly. It's something that Coach Bridget Mitchell told her to do in practice. When I want you coming off a screen, I want you to shoot. So already with 7 points as she's slowly heating up, TD is imminent.
Yeah, and I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again about Taylor Donaldson. She is the true definition of a microwave player. She can get hot in less time than anybody. All it takes is one bucket to go down for TD, and she could get this team going. Like we mentioned at halftime, this is still only a 6-point game as we find it now. So Fordham definitely not out of this game, although 25-19 is an increasingly odd scoreline to look at the further we get into this game, Madi.
They find themselves in an interesting enough spot because the St. Louis Billikens, let me start over, they've been able to get their offense off, and some of it has just been misfire. They've been missing by the skin of their teeth. They've been doing what they have to do. At the same time, Fordham has to be proud of the product they've been putting out there. They just have to have more of that.
Still out rebounding the Billikens significantly are the Rams as the inbound goes to Shea Harris. Now Taylor Donaldson fires a 2-pointer. It's no good from just past the free throw line. It's rebounded by Simon. Now Peyton Kennedy with a right wing 3 quickly on the other end. It's no good. And Umeli tries to gather the loose ball, but she can't get there. It'll be Fordham's ball. 4:26 to go here in the third quarter.
Again, you got to talk about the shot quality on that one. Wide open on the near side wing. No one in the vicinity.
Taylor Donaldson, dribble handoff to Shea Harris. Shea Harris pulls for 2. It's no good. And Emma Wilson-Saltos manages to get a call in her favor.
Now that's thinking with your head. She seals off Brooklyn Gray, if I'm not mistaken there, from getting the basketball back into play there. Wilson-Saltos, excellent frame, and she's physical as ever. That's not someone you want to run into.
Taylor Donaldson inbounds from the baseline to Shea Harris. And they're going to call a foul here, I believe, against Emma Wilson-Saltos for an illegal screen set in the paint. I saw Kennedy Calhoun go down right at the free throw line, and the call came immediately after. So an illegal screen against the Rams. We're going to tick under 4 minutes here in the third quarter on this possession. Kennedy Calhoun finds Peyton Kennedy. She hands it up. No, she doesn't hand it off to Brooklyn Gray. She holds on to it. finds an open man in the corner. It's Shantaria Anyumeli for three. 28-19 St. Louis, 3:47 to go in the third. Taylor Donaldson has it for the Rams. She tries to move inside, but there's going to be an offensive foul called against Taylor Donaldson on the drive. She tries to plead her case, but it's increasingly getting harder and harder for the Fordham Rams to get anything going offensively.
Looks to me that Taylor Donaldson may have beaten her to the spot, but no dice. One goes up, one goes down. The refs blow their whistle.
Kennedy Calhoun has it again for the St. Louis Billikens. She finds Brooklyn Gray at the top of the key, moves the ball inside for Peyton Kennedy, and she gets the two and the foul. But I feel like a ghost may have fouled her, because there was no one in the vicinity of Peyton Kennedy when she took that shot, but the foul was called on the shot.
We're going to see a little bit of a replay here, and again, head coach Jen Mitchell laughing as she's walking back at the ludicrous situation that is that foul call again. Seems to be nothing there, but again, the refs blowing their whistle, phantom foul. We'll never know.
Peyton Kennedy makes the free throw to convert the three-point play. 31-19 St. Louis, 3:20 to go here in the third. Shea Harris has it for the Rams. Excuse me, it's Anastasia Veljovic now. Shea Harris has it on the left wing now after the pass from Veljovic, and there's a foul on Brooklyn Gray. She can't believe it, but at this point, that's got to be a payback call here for the Fordham Rams.
Maybe the referee's in his head a little bit, Tucker.
3:12 to go. It's going to be Shea Harris at the line, and she makes her first free throw. Shea Harris, a 61% shooter from the stripe, and she drills the second one. Now a 10-point deficit for the Rams, 31-21. Kennedy Calhoun gets pressed at half court, but gets the ball away to Anyumeli. Anyumeli working inside, her layup's no good. They give possession to the Fordham Rams after a Billiken knocks it out of bounds. The building did not like that one, but at this point I think the refs might be everyone's enemy. It's going to be Taylor Donaldson with it for the Rams at half court. TD on the left wing. She moves down into the left corner, and now she finds Shea Harris. Shea Harris moving right to left. She finds TD in the corner. She pulls for three, and it's a little strong, no good. Carissa Antoine with the rebound, but it's blocked by Simon. Simon sends it forward for Anyumeli, but it's stolen. Taylor Donaldson has it for the Rams now at the three-point line. She finds Veljovic in the left corner, and the Rams will set up. 2:30 to go here in the third quarter. Shea Harris pulls for three. It's no good off the back iron. Rebounded by Veljovic, and she's going to be fouled relatively aggressively right outside the paint. Veljovic was fouled there by Peyton Kennedy, picking up another foul. That's her second of the game for the Billikens. Third of the game, rather, excuse me. Shavers checks in for the Billikens now.
And if you've been keeping up with this game, whether it be on the radio or at home, that is 5 rebounds for Anastasia Veljovic, and they've been 5 strong rebounds. She has a natural knack for the ball, and she's headhunting the rebounds.
So, as there's a turnover here, the Billikens will have possession underneath. Fordham bringing a strong full-court press here, down by 10 with 2:15 to go. Calhoun sends a long pass down for Simon, and she sends it back to Calhoun, and that broke the press in the half court. Now Calhoun on the right wing. Shaver sets a screen, but it's Simon now on the left wing. Simon goes left to right, driving into the paint, goes up for the layup, but there's another foul called on the shot. I believe it's Shea Harris. No, Veljovic is called for the foul this time.
Yeah, Tucker, just reviewing the play there. On the attack, Tiara Simon talking there with head coach Rebecca Tillett. Not much shot quality going into that direction. Again, the ball hits the side of the backboard there. Veljovic's hand comes down at the last minute there, but maybe not enough to warrant this trip to the charity stripe.
Simon hit the first of two. I think it bears mentioning that Shavers Kennedy Calhoun and Peyton Kennedy all have 3 fouls apiece at this point in the game, as Simon hits the second of 2 free throws to put the Billikens up 33-21 here with 1:54 to go in the third quarter. Taya Davis has it for the Rams at half court. She sends it to Donaldson, and now back to Taya Davis. Back and forth, very close to each other. Taya Davis still at half court, trying to get the offense to move around. Now she moves to the opposite side. Now right to left and finds Donaldson on the left wing. Donaldson sends it back up top for Antoine. Now it's Taya Davis. She moves inside. Taylor Donaldson steps back in the corner for 3. It's no good as the shot clock expires. Rebounded by Simon, and the Billikens go the other way. It's Tillett, and now it's Calhoun. Calhoun with the inside pass to Simon, and the reverse layup is good. A great feed from Calhoun and a better finish from Simon. And the Billikens have a 35-21 lead here with 1 minute and 7 seconds to play in the third. Veljovic has it for the Rams. Now Morwa at the top of the key. He's trying to get it to Taylor Donaldson, but now has to settle for Taya Davis. Davis on the left wing. Now it's Carissa Antoine at the top of the key. He finds Morwa underneath. Her layup's no good. Defended by Shavers, but it's the loose ball after the rebound is picked up by Veljovic. There's bodies all over the floor in the paint under the basket, Madi. There's going to be a foul against Markavia Shavers of the Billikens. It's her 4th of the contest here with 45.7 to go in the third quarter.
And again, Fordham, not for a lack of effort. You see the pile of humanity, the campfire there for the basketball. They've definitely given themselves their second chance opportunities. But again, the offense slow to come about.
Inbound for the Rams goes to Veljovic. Now it's Taya Davis on the right wing. Screen set by Barry as Taya Davis drives into the lane. Finds Morwa on the bounce pass. She goes up for the layup, and it's good. Irene Morwa with a strong layup there. It's 35-23 St. Louis. 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. Simon has it now for St. Louis. And Kennedy Calhoun has it standing on the ear of the Billikens logo. Now moves a little bit to her right, working on Taya Davis. She's letting the clock die here a little bit. She's going to give the Fordham Rams as little time as possible. Calhoun still with it, 3 seconds to go on the shot clock. They need to get the shot off. Simon's still holding it, and they take the shot clock violation. I mean, with a 12-point lead, I suppose they'd rather just go to the break between quarters at this point as they simply hold the ball through the shot clock there, Madi. Caleb Berry inbounds for the Rams. It's nearly stolen away by Calhoun, but Taylor Donaldson gets it just before the clock expires. Her heave from half court is no good. And so it is 35-23. The St. Louis Billikens lead the Fordham Rams after 3 quarters of play. But before we start the fourth quarter, we'll send it back to the Rose Hill studio for your one-on-one scoreboard update with Luis Andrade.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Well, things are getting down rowdy at the Garden. With the Lakers leading, the score there is 46-44 in the second. Down south in Houston, the Nets continue to lead against the Rockets in the half. The score is 53-38. Lots of NBA action tomorrow. The Bulls visit the Pistons at the Motor City at 3 p.m. The Clippers take a trip up north to Canada to face against the Raptors at 3:30. The number 1 seed Cavs host the Dallas Mavericks over in the city of Cleveland. Heading east, the Celtics visit the city of brotherly love to play the Sixers at 6. In the NHL, the Islanders lead the Lightning 2-1 in the third. Heading over to the nation's capital again, the Winnipeg Jets continue to lead over the Capitals 4-3 in the third. For the top 25 matchups, UConn continues to lead over the Marquette 44-33 in the second half. In the SEC, the Texas A&M Aggies face off against the South Carolina State Bulldogs. The Aggies lead 44-36 at the half. Staying in the South, Kentucky Wildcats lead the Arkansas Razorbacks 22-20 in the first half. In the MLB, there are some major new signings. Future Hall of Famer Max Scherzer signs a one-year deal with the Blue Jays. Han Seung-Kim signed a 2-year contract with the Tampa Bay Rays, and past Yankee reliever Tommy Canale signs a 1-year deal with the Detroit Tigers. With your updates, I'm Luis Andrade.
We thank you very much, Luis Andrade, for your scoreboard update. You can catch him if you're listening at home on the post-game show after the end of the fourth quarter. But welcome back inside of the Chaifetz Arena here in St. Louis, Missouri. The Billikens lead the Fordham Rams 35-23 here as we await the start of the fourth quarter. And this game has certainly not gone the way that Fordham would like for this game to go. I mean, it's pretty easy to say that when they're losing, but I mean, they're losing by this much to a team that's given up the most points in the A-10 per game this season, and they only have 23 going into the final frame. The one saving grace for the Fordham Rams, Madi, in this game might be that a few of the Billikens star players are in some foul trouble here, that being Shavers, Peyton Kennedy, and Kennedy Calhoun. Shavers, of course, with 4 fouls. She's in the most danger. And we are just about ready to start the fourth quarter here. Kayla Berry inbounds to Taylor Donaldson. And the last 10 minutes are underway. Morwa gets it to Veljovic and sets a screen. Veljovic at the top of the key tries to find Taylor Donaldson inside. It's tipped away, and Kennedy Calhoun went down in the paint. I believe she took a shot possibly to the jaw. Maybe got hit by the ball or by a teammate. But it's Fordham's ball. Taya Davis inbounds it from the baseline. It's Veljovic in the right corner. Morwa gets it out the low block, moves inside, and her layup is no good. Rebound fought for and won by Kennedy Calhoun. She gets it forward to Brooklyn Gray, who fires it inside for Nafatumata Hydra, and she's fouled as she goes up, holding the left side of her face. Taya Davis is called for the foul for the Rams, and Nafatumata Hydra, with her first action of the night, goes to the line for the Billikens.
Yeah, not for a lack of effort once again for the Fordham Rams. You see Taya Davis there, heart over height. Hydra at 6'5", Davis 5'7", but no dice. She's able to get ball and contact. So Hydra is at the line here.
Hydra hits her first free throw. 9:29 to go here in the fourth quarter. Hydra missed all of last season due to an injury. She's played in just 7 games this year. She hits the second of 2 free throws to give the Billikens a 37-23 lead.
But when she's playing, she is a shot block extraordinaire.
Taya Davis has it for the Rams. Kayla Berry sets a screen. Taya Davis works around it. She's guarded by Wallace. Taya Davis moves down into the right corner. Now she finds Kayla Berry. She pulls a 2-pointer from just inside the 3-point line, and it's good. Kayla Berry with the 2, and it's 37-25 St. Louis. Ticking just under 9 minutes now here in the fourth quarter. Veljovic guarding Calhoun at the top of the key. Now Tillett has it. She finds Brooklyn Gray inside, who kicks it back out for Kennedy Calhoun. She slows the offense down again, now moves right to left, dumps it off for Brooklyn Gray. Now moved inside for Hydra. Hydra goes up for the layup. It's no good. It's rebounded by Wallace. She gets her own board after a miss and then is fouled on the ensuing attempt. So another shooting foul here for the Fordham Rams, and this time Hannah Wallace will go to the line for the Billikens.
And it's a hole that you continue to dig yourself into. 37-25, you're in the hole by 12. And the charity stripe, the free throws are the last thing that you want to do here. Again, the Billikens shooting 80% from the free throw line. They make about 13.9, 14 a game. So not a team that you want to be giving freebies at this point.
Wallace hits the first of 2 free throws, and Fordham now with 2 team fouls in the quarter. St. Louis has 0. Fordham trailing. They're going to have to start fouling eventually, but they're going to run out of fouls to give, as Wallace hits the second of 2 to make it 39-25 St. Louis, 8:35 to go in the fourth quarter. Taya Davis has it for the Rams. Wallace guarding on the left wing. Mortawa screen. Taya Davis sends it to Shea Harris. Shea Harris moves inside. Her floater is off the front of the rim, no good. Now Taylor Donaldson gets the rebound, puts it up, and it's good. Taylor Donaldson with the rebound and the 2, 39-27 St. Louis. Tillett has it for the Billikens the other way. Now Calhoun, and now it's Wallace on the left wing. Back up to Calhoun, top of the key, left side. Now left wing again, it's Wallace. Wallace sends it down to Simon, but the ball's loose. Taya Davis gets the takeaway. Goes behind the back and gets the reach-in foul. So a quick foul in transition there by the Billikens. Kind of a random foul in a weird place to give it up, as it wasn't even a fast break. Markavia Shavers checks back in as Nafatumata Hydra takes a seat for the Billikens. For the Rams, it's Barry, Davis, Mordwa, Donaldson, and Veljovic. As Taya Davis moves inside, now Kayla Berry underneath. Her layup is good. Nice feed by Davis. Good layup by Berry. 39-29 Billikens.
And Berry's nearly perfect on the day, 3 of 4 from the field. So maybe she's an option that Fordham could look to go towards as this game gets closer to the end.
Isabel Tillett finds Simon, and now it's Calhoun once again for the Billikens. Calhoun moves around Taya Davis, gets inside for the floater, and it's just too easy for Kennedy Calhoun. 41-29, the Billikens lead, 7:21 to go here in the fourth quarter. Taya Davis brings it across half court for the Rams. She's guarded by Wallace, and she moves inside. Now she finds Veljovic on the opposite side of the floor. Veljovic's three from the left corner is no good, rebounded by Simon. She finds Calhoun, and Calhoun pushes the pace. Now it's Wallace in the left corner, and now it's Calhoun again. They're both standing in that left corner, and now it's Shavers. Shavers at the free throw line, and now sends it back out to Kennedy Calhoun. 6:51 to go here in the fourth quarter. Kennedy Calhoun nearly stolen by Donaldson, but she gets away. Now it's Simon with it. Simon sends it cross court for Tillett. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Tillett sends it to Wallace. Wallace with 2 seconds on the shot clock. It's no good off the rim. Shot clock resets, and Kennedy Calhoun regains possession. 6:33 on the clock here in the fourth, and it feels like it's bleeding away for the Fordham Rams. Kennedy Calhoun gives it to Wallace, and now it goes to Tillett. Tillett has it for St. Louis. She sends it across for Calhoun. Calhoun pulls for a 2, and she hits, but it's a 2 on the floor. The building thinks it's a 3, but it's 43-29 St. Louis with 6:10 to go in the fourth.
She's having herself a game. Kennedy Calhoun, 27 minutes of action, 50% from the field. Make that 4 of 6 from the field there with 8 points. That one coming off of what feels like a dagger so early with 6:05, but that's the type of shot that demoralizes this basketball team. You play it all the way down to the 30, Fordham in their defensive, I would say, aura, within that defensive magnitude that they have, but Calhoun comes and rips their heart out once again, 43-29, and it begins to look bleak for the visiting Rams.
Yeah, and Tiara Simon has 13 points for the St. Louis Billikens. That leads their team. Kennedy Calhoun is starting to make her presence felt as well, as if we hadn't the entire game. But that brings us to the media timeout. We're at 6:05 to go in the fourth, but the referees sent the media to a break, so we will take a break as well. We'll be right back with more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
The one-on-ones.
Hey sports fans, it's Bobby C. I'm the sports director here at WFUV. From live broadcasts of Fordham athletics to coverage of all the professional sports teams in the NYC, we've got everything a sports fan could ask for. Like talking sports? Check out One on One, New York's longest running sports call-in show, as well as our diverse collection of podcasts. If you're a Fordham student interested in joining our program, feel free to shoot me an email, bobbyc@wfuv.org. And as always, thank you to all of our listeners who support us every week. 90.7 FM is the home of WFUV Sports.
We welcome you back inside of the Chaifetz Arena in St. Louis, Missouri. Tucker Austin and Madi Dembele here with 6 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. It is a 14-point deficit for the Fordham Rams against the St. Louis Billikens here tonight. That score is 43-29. And for the Fordham Rams, I hate to say it, Madi, but the three-point struggles have reared their head once again. 0 for 12 against URI and 1 for 12 tonight against the St. Louis Billikens.
Yeah, it's a secret ingredient for Fordham. Whenever they could shoot the three ball well, they usually blow the roof of whatever stadium they're playing in, typically the Rose Hill Gymnasium, but it hasn't been a factor in the last 2 games here. They've certainly been getting them up, but they have not been falling here. 43-29, Fordham finds themselves in the hole by 14, so if the three-point shots are ever going to come in this game, it's better now than ever before.
Both teams, both head coaches rather, I should say, with 3 timeouts as Donaldson inbounds it to Taya Davis. Ticking under 6 minutes here in the 4th. Taya Davis has it on the right wing. Now she sends it to Taylor Donaldson, who brings it over to Shea Harris on the left side. Harris gets it out to Donaldson, wide open for 3 from the left wing, and it's good! A pure three-pointer from Taylor Donaldson, and that might get the Fordham Rams back into this one, but it is still an 11-point deficit, 43-32, St. Louis.
And again, if the threes are going to come, you might as well start now. It's time to go on the run if you're the Rams.
Rams bring in the full court press, and Tiara Simon dribbled right through it. Kennedy Calhoun with the ball now at the top of the key. Now on the left wing. Brooklyn Gray has it now on the left wing. Brooklyn Gray working on Taya Davis. She moves inside, spins away from the defenders, but the jumper is no good. Rebounded by Simon, but there's going to be a foul called here. It's against Shavers. That's Shavers' 5th of the game.
Again, Shavers going to have to take a seat here. As you said before, 5th of the game. So
Arcadia Shavers, yeah.
Rebecca Tillett's going to have to make some substitution changes here for someone who's been so influential within the offense.
So Marcavia Shavers will take a seat for the rest of the game. Veljovic with the left corner 3 for the Rams is no good. Taylor Donaldson with the rebound, and she's fouled on the ensuing attempt. So Taylor Donaldson will go to the line for the Fordham Rams. A welcome sight for Fordham now with an 11-point deficit.
Yeah, and St. Louis, they're going to call a timeout here, try to kill any momentum that they sense coming from the Fordham side of this court here. 43-32 is what they have. They're going to have to play the long game with this one because, again, Fordham in the long time is going to have to try to foul them to extend this game for as much as possible. Still 5 minutes, but you kind of sense from St. Louis that the Fordham Avalanche is still to come.
Well, that takes us to another media timeout here at 5 minutes flat in the 4th quarter. We'll send it back to the studio for a quick break, and then we're right back for the rest of the 4th quarter for more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
The one-on-one.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
And we welcome you back to the Chaifetz Arena, just west of the beautiful, I would say picturesque downtown St. Louis, Madi. We had a great chance to go see the Arch earlier before this game. Got some barbecue last night. Headed over to the ballpark district today. We've been living it up here in St. Louis, Madi, but the Fordham Rams have not been living it up on the court today against the St. Louis Billikens. They are down by 11 here with 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter. And the media timeout just about wrapping up here. For the Fordham Rams, I mean, who else can you look to but Taylor Donaldson to try and get this team going? And she's started to get things going a little bit. I mean, she's up to 12 points now. That almost leads the game. But It's not enough for this Rams team.
Let me change the perspective on that, Tucker. If you're head coach Bridget Mitchell, you look to all of them because now is the time. You are down 11, but with 5 minutes left in this game, you're coming out of a timeout where you guys held all the momentum, and one of the more incremental pieces of St. Louis's attack, Marcadia Shavers, is now on the bench with 5. So the time is now, Nasir Jones, ladies and gentlemen, for you to go on that big run.
Taylor Donaldson knocks down the first of her 2 free throws. Could bring it down to a 9-point deficit, and she hits. So 43-34, a 9-point deficit now for the Rams. They bring the full court press. Kennedy Calhoun breaks it. She finds Peyton Kennedy in the left corner for 3. It's no good. Rebounded by Taylor Donaldson. Back the other way go the Rams. Donaldson working on Brooklyn Gray, and she moves it to Taya Davis. Taya Davis will set up the offense now for the Fordham Rams. Davis loses the ball, regains possession, finds Shea Harris. She pulls for 3. It's strong and to the right. Loose ball after the shot. Kayla Berry saves it. Shea Harris now has it on the left side. She dumps it off for Kayla Berry. She moves around a screen. Kayla Berry looking for an outlet, and she finds Taya Davis on the left wing. Fires up a 3 at the shot clock, and it's no good. It didn't hit the rim, so I believe it's a shot clock violation against the Fordham Rams. 4:21 to go here in the fourth. The Rams trail by 9. Both teams with 3 timeouts still. 3 team fouls for the Billikens and just 2 for the Fordham Rams.
Head coach Bridget Mitchell's going to go ahead and make a quick substitution here. Veljovic back into the game for Kayla Berry there. Still in that position, trying to get more shooting, some more scoring out there.
Still a full court press from the Rams. Peyton Kennedy fires a long pass down the court to Brooklyn Gray. And Brooklyn Gray will set things up. It is Shea Harris, Murwa, Veljovic, Davis, and Donaldson for the Rams. Loose ball, and then a quick 3 from the corner, but it's no good. That time from Mia Bergstrom. Taya Davis finds Harris, and now a handoff to Davis. Davis, crossover, moves into the paint, finds a wide open Murwa for the layup, and it's 43-36 St. Louis. Taya Davis gets the steal. A lot of contact right in front of the scorer's table here. They're going to call the foul on Brooklyn Gray. Taya Davis with a great job immediately off the inbound on the full court press to regain possession for the Rams.
Davis with the eye of the tiger there, getting the nifty deuce to Irina Mora, only where she could get it, draws into dump off pass there, and then immediately straight into the defense, steals it away from Gray there. Fordham with all the momentum.
Taylor Donaldson inbounds it to Taya Davis. She nearly loses it past the half-court line, but regains it. Taylor Donaldson pulls for a short 2, and it's good. That's pure from Taylor Donaldson. 43-38, it's a 5-point game now. Fordham into the bonus, 3:30 to go, and it's stolen by Murwa. Murwa forward for Veljovic. Veljovic goes up for the layup, and she's fouled, and it's good and 1. Anastasia Veljovic with the layup and 1. It's a 3-point game. She has a chance to bring the Rams within 2.
The maroon and white kicking in the door here in the Billikens home. They have now cut the deficit to a measly 3 points here. St. Louis, the phantom punch. They don't know what hit them in the face, and that's all she wrote. 3:28, Fordham with life.
And the Fordham Rams are hyping up their fan section right now. A couple of parents up there getting a little loud in this building. It's a timeout called by Rebecca Tillett. We'll keep it here. But oh my goodness, Madi, this game has completely changed its complexion in maybe less than 2 minutes of time here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and the Rams travel heavy indeed. Some of the Fordham faithful coming all the way from the Bronx, New York, here to St. Louis, Missouri, to show some love to the Fordham Rams here. And it acts as a 6th man, the energy, the vibes. You absolutely love it. I thought we were the only 2 here that had to travel besides the team, but seems like Fordham has a huge fandom behind them, and St. Louis trying to argue back as they are the home crowd here. Again, 43-40, 3:28 left, and this game is heating up.
Well, Taya Davis, of course, the native of Decatur, Illinois. A little far, but it's just the next state over here from St. Louis.
That Midwest flair.
So a strong Fordham contingent here. I'm not sure where they came from. They must have followed the team here. It's a long trip.
Very long.
It's a very long trip. If they drove, shout out to them for making that trip.
Yeah,
I mean, we flew here and it felt long.
flew here, and it was not a trip that I enjoyed. Not a fan of heights, but I was about to lie. You don't get over it again. My perpetual fear of heights. Again, we came by plane. Don't know how they got there, but glad that they are here for Fordham again. The comeback feels to be on.
3-point game, 43-40. The Billikens still lead the Fordham Rams. 3:28 to go. Donaldson will take her free throw for the N1. She misses off the front iron, so it remains a 3-point game. I believe she's getting, oh, was there a technical? I believe there was a technical that gave Fordham 2 free throws.
And again, they come up with possession because of the technical. So she misses the first, gets the second. Still an opportunity here. You don't need a 3 as you play this game so close, and you're only down to 2, so you get a score. It's a tie ball game.
2-point game, 3:25 to go in the fourth quarter. It's Taya Davis on the ball for the Rams. Out there with Veljovic, Morwa, Donaldson, and Shea Harris. Taya Davis has it at half court and now at the top of the key. She's looking for an option and finds Veljovic. She fakes the 3, moves inside for the 2. It's no good. Gets her own rebound, looks for the outlet, finds Shea Harris. Now it's Taya Davis again, and Fordham will reset. Taya Davis moving into the paint. She finds Morwa, moving strong, goes up with the layup, and it's good. We have a tie ball game in St. Louis, ladies and gentlemen. 43-all with 2:49 to go in the fourth.
Big-time players make big-time plays, and Morwa is there, back to the back, every bit of true. 43-43.
Calhoun has it for the Billikens. Now it's Simon on the right wing. She moves inside on Morwa. Her layup is good. A great move through contact by Tiara Simon to get the bucket, and the Billikens retake the lead. It's 45-43. Taya Davis moves it up for the Rams. 2:20 to go here in the fourth quarter, and the building is rising its volume to the occasion. Morwa has it now. Now it's Veljovic in the right corner. Veljovic moves into the paint. She has an open lane. She goes for the layup, and it's good. 45-45, 2:05 to go in the fourth.
Defensive breakdown there by St. Louis. No weak side help. Rotates to this driving Veljovic, and that's the easiest score she's going to have all night.
It's Kennedy Calhoun with it on the right wing. She's guarded closely by Veljovic, and there's going to be a foul on the floor against Veljovic.
Tit for tat foul there, Tucker. Again, you don't want officiating to decide the outcome of this game, given the game flow. 45-45, not high scoring, but if you're both coaches, both Mitchell and Tillett, you wish that the referees at this time swallow their whistles.
So Hannah Wallace sits down, and Isabel Tillett comes on for the Billikens. Tillett will inbound here, and it's tipped away by Shea Harris immediately on the inbound, so the Billikens will do it again. 1:50 to go in the fourth quarter. We're all knotted at 45. The Billikens and the Rams in what's become a wild game that had a slow start. Brooklyn Gray with it now for the Billikens, guarded by Taya Davis at the three-point line on the right wing. Brooklyn Gray loses her footing and loses the ball. Shea Harris has it, fast break the other way. She goes through contact, and there's a foul. Shea Harris will go to the line for 2 with a tie game, 1:35 to go.
Again, the Fordham Rams playing with that strength in numbers mentality there. It's been several key players for them. Taya Davis, Taylor Donaldson, now Shea Harris. Irina Mura in there as well. Shea Harris, nothing fancy, puts her head down, gets to the basket, forces the high percentage shot, and forces the Billikens to do nothing except for foul. Again, they're here at the free throw line with a chance to take over.
Shea Harris with a chance to give the Fordham Rams the lead. Harris's first free throw is good. It rattles home. Harris, we mentioned, is a 61% free throw shooter, and her second is good. 47-45, the Rams have a 2-point lead. 1:33 to go here in the fourth. Brooklyn Gray has it, and now it's Calhoun. Calhoun goes back to Gray. Gray dribbles inside into multiple Fordham defenders. She's double teamed, and now Calhoun has it again. Calhoun directing the offense. Calhoun finds Gray. Gray moves inside, gets the ball to Simon. Simon has trouble with it. She's guarded by 2 defenders. Brooklyn Gray dribbles into 2. Simon's wide open underneath. Her layup's no good.
There's a foul on the floor. There's a foul call
There is a foul on the floor. It's going to be against Irene Murwa of the Rams. It's her 4th foul of the game.
Little bit of an awkward motion there, Tucker. Again, Gray trying to get the ball up and over the basket. Simon trying to get the ball up and over the basket. Kind of drifts back into Mora, who's just trying to cover the ground. But again, it goes the way of the Billikens. It's a tit-for-tat, iffy type of situation, but they're here at the line.
Simon makes her first free throw. It's a 1-point game. Simon's second free throw is good. We're tied at 47. 1:07 to go. And St. Louis calls a timeout. We're going to stay right here during the timeout. And I can imagine there's going to be plenty more of these as the game winds down. We're just over a minute to go in the 4th, but both teams with several timeouts. St. Louis just spent their second, so they have 2 left. Fordham still has 3 timeouts remaining. Markavia Shavers, the only player in this game to foul out so far, but the Rams with 3 players in foul trouble. Veljovic and Morwa being the primary in danger of fouling out here. Emma Wilson-Saltos, of course, has come off the bench primarily. We're not as concerned with her fouling out. But if either Veljovic or Morwa fouls out, you're going to lose a lot of tenacity under the basket that you want late in the game right now.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then you're gonna have to turn towards Taylor Donaldson, who has turned this game around upside down. 17 points, 6 of 17, 2 of 6, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. She has arrived just as we know her to be. So if push comes to shove, you look the way of TD.
Veljovic goes coast to coast, now on the left wing. She gets it to Taya Davis. Taya Davis has it at the top of the key.
Final minute here.
50 seconds and ticking. Taya Davis has it on the right wing. She moves into the paint, goes up with a layup. It's well short, and it's rebounded by Simon. She gets it out to Calhoun. Calhoun gets it forward for Brooklyn Gray. Brooklyn Gray has just Taylor Donaldson in front of her, and Donaldson has to foul. It's an unfortunate situation, and Donaldson went up right with the shot, but unfortunately caught a little bit too much of her hand and sends Brooklyn Gray to the free throw line.
Again, the replay center is going to give us an opportunity to look at this one. But again, maybe not enough contact to call that one. Again, the officiating has been a point of frustration at times for both teams here. Again, you wish they just swallow their whistles. 37 seconds left on the clock.
Brooklyn Gray's first free throw is good to give the Billikens the lead. 48-47. Brooklyn Gray's second free throw is good, and that's a 2-point game. Billikens lead 49-47, 36.9 to go, and Bridgette Mitchell immediately calls her second timeout.
And again, they're just going back to that foul. Not to be a broken record, but again, a bailout for St. Louis. Again, they make good on it. You take the opportunity, you strike upon it when presenting with you, but maybe not something that should have been called. Maybe this is wishful thinking, homerism, call it what you will. But again, the referees may need to look for real contact, if I do say so myself. I don't know if that's the best way to put it. But again, maybe that's not the best call to make at such a crucial time.
I'm still not sure. I think it's a close play over there.
Maybe too close for comfort.
I think Taylor Donaldson, Brooklyn Gray's moving with all her momentum against Taylor Donaldson, who is physically smaller than Brooklyn Gray, moving into the paint. I don't necessarily hate a foul call there because there was some contact, and it was definitely more contact than some of the other calls we've seen this game. But I do agree. I would rather they'd swallow the whistle closer to the end of the game here. Taylor Donaldson inbounds it to Taya Davis. It's a 2-point ball game, 49-47. 30 seconds, under 30 seconds now. Veljovic goes up with it, and it's good. Excuse me, that's Taylor Donaldson, because of course it's TD. Taylor Donaldson with the huge floater from just outside the paint on the left block. Gets it to go and ties the game with 26.6. And St. Louis calls timeout.
One of the loudest silences we've had all game long here. She kind of moons over the St. Louis faithful, give them a proverbial hush as she's there celebrating with her teammates again. not knowing what hit them as we find ourselves deadlocked at 49 apiece. Again, under a minute left to go. It's anybody's game, truly.
Madi, if you told me at the 5-minute mark in the second quarter that this game would be 49-49 with under 30 seconds, I probably would have told you were insane. But here we are.
Here we are. It's one of those Fordham Classic games, but for this brigade, I'm not sure if they would have it any other way other than a smooth win, but they love the dog fights. They love getting in their nitty-gritty, and this is usually where the bigger players of Fordham shines, but St. Louis has risen to the occasion, and they played well all game. So, again, it's a complete 50-50 at this point.
26.6 on the clock here in the fourth quarter. The inbound will come from Gray to Calhoun. Shot clock is turned off. Calhoun has it at the top of the key. She'll dribble it down and look for the last shot. Calhoun still with it. Still waiting. Veljovic just outside the three-point line on defense. Calhoun picks up her dribble. She finds Simon. 0.7 and the shot.
Overtime.
We're going to overtime. Unbelievable. It's the second time this game St. Louis has held onto the ball to go to the end of a quarter, and it's to go to overtime. That's unbelievable. I can't believe they didn't just let her take a shot.
Despite the fact that you are going to overtime, you have 5 minutes extra to sort this one out. You don't like the impression left by the St. Louis Billikens. Again, the game flow has been in their possession, in their favor the entire game, but on that last possession, you replicate one of the worst plays from a really solid performance here. Again, not able to get a shot off before time expires. Again, the emotional equilibrium, the momentum is all on the side of Fordham. They're coming out with head nods, with smiles. The faithful are trying to do what they can to up this team, but that play may just come back to bite them where it hurts.
Yeah, I don't see how you're not going for the win in that scenario. Either if it was a decision from St. Louis or if it was a decision from Kennedy Calhoun in the moment to not take the shot there, but she picked up her dribble about 7 feet from the three-point line.
Extended, picked up her dribble, had nothing. There was no release point, and then tries to get a shot at the basket. At that point, it's no reason not to put up a shot. It's a win-win situation if you do. You don't get the shot to go. You go to overtime. You get it to go. You take the game. So you're dribbling, trying to get closer to the basket. Put it up. You never know what happens. Crazier things have happened in this sport, but complete and mental breakdown here by the Billikens.
Well, Madi, we've got extra basketball.
I'm not mad at it.
This is a basketball fan's dream. Although, shout out to our studio crew back in the Bronx. They're an hour ahead of us, and it's going to be a late night for them. But we've got a ball game on our hands here in St. Louis.
It's Kurt Sipple behind the board, so I'm pretty sure he kind of camps out there. He's always there when I'm there, so I think Kurt will enjoy it. I think you'll appreciate that one right there.
Getting ready for the start of overtime action here at the Chaifetz Arena in St. Louis. Tucker Austin and Madi Dembele here as the Fordham Rams and the St. Louis Billikens are knotted at 49. We have a 5-minute extra period to play. Foul trouble going to come into account now with anybody who had 4 fouls. You're going to continue to be worried about them now. The tip is sent back well into the backcourt by Carissa Antoine, and it's picked up by Kennedy Calhoun. Calhoun has it. Now it's Gray. Gray pulls for 2, and it's no good. Rattles around the rim and out. Taylor Donaldson with it now after the rebound by Shea Harris. Donaldson drives, and she's fouled by Brooklyn Gray.
And again there, for Brooklyn Gray, that's going to be foul number, if I'm not mistaken, 4. Thank you, Tucker Austin there. So again, she's in trouble of leading this game as well, and it's not a luxury that head coach Tillett can afford as of this moment. Again, her team seems to be the B side in all this, so losing one of your best scorers, no good.
Both these teams in the bonus for the entirety of the overtime period as Donaldson hits the first of her 2 free throws awarded by the Brooklyn Gray foul on the floor. 4:36 to go in the first overtime, excuse me. Already talking about a second overtime period as Taylor Donaldson knocks down the second free throw. 51-49, the Rams lead. 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go in overtime. Calhoun dribbles right into the teeth of the defense. Great poke away by Shea Harris. It's going to stay with the Billikens, but Shea Harris did a great job to get her hand inside there without fouling and knock the ball away, disrupting that St. Louis offense. It's going to be Brooklyn Gray to take it at the baseline for the Billikens. Gray gets it to Simon, who finds, and it's over to Kennedy, but then she fires it out of bounds. Kennedy Calhoun got it at the left wing and fired it out of bounds immediately. It's going to be a quick turnover, and Fordham has a chance to maybe go up by 2 scores here, Madi.
And that's great body control there by Shea Harris. She's sensitive enough to jump into that passing lane, which would have been a steal, but then she realizes it's going out of bounds. She gets out of there quick, fast, and in a hurry. Good job there by Shea Harris.
Taya Davis finds Taylor Donaldson. Now back to Taya Davis. Davis on the right wing, and it's going to be a kick ball by Hannah Wallace. It's Davis, Harris, Veljovic, Donaldson, and Morwa out there for the Rams. It is Brooklyn Gray, Hannah Wallace, Shuntaria and Umeli, Kennedy Calhoun, and Tiara Simon for the Billikens. Now Shea Harris has it at the top of the key. Shea Harris drives inside, but it's going to be stolen by Simon. Going the other way is Anumeli. Anumeli driving on Morwa, and she's fouled, but it's no good.
Again, another one of those weird fouls there. It looks like Anumeli initiated most of the contact. Mora just trying to keep up with her there. Hand straight up from about 94 feet there. Traveled basically from baseline to baseline where her hand is up. So she's going to take a seat here. Carissa Antoine back into the game. Replay center shows it once again.
Well, Morwa actually I believe she just fouled out. That was her 5th.
5th foul there.
So Morwa's done for the night. Really unfortunate there.
Again, next man up mentality for Fordham. Wilson, Saltos, Kayla Berry. Be ready.
And the first is good from Anumeli. Carissa Antoine is out there to replace Irene Morwa. Shuntaria Anumele's second free throw is no good. Fordham maintains the lead, but the rebound by Tiara Simon. So Billikens regain possession in a 1-point game. 3:30 to go here in overtime. Hannah Wallace moves inside. Her floater's no good. Fight for the rebound, and there's a loose ball. Shea Harris gathers it. There's a foul called on the floor, but I believe that's going to be against St. Louis.
Yes, it is.
Fordham had the basketball.
Yeah, Shea Harris trying to get out there in transition. Not a clear path foul. She seems to have nothing but daylight in front of her. But again, Fordham's going to stay here. She's going to go to the line there. Technical foul, free throw shooter. The amazing stroke that she absolutely has here. You hope that it comes through.
Both teams in the bonus here in the overtime period, so not technical free throws, but they are free throws nonetheless for a foul on the floor as Shea Harris makes the first of 2 to give the Rams a 2-point lead.
And again, a free throw here is a comfortable enough cushion. No threes.
And the second is good for Shea Harris, so good conversion there by Harris after the foul by Kennedy Calhoun. Kennedy Calhoun now has the ball for the Billikens at the top of the key, guarded by Veljovic. 53-50 Fordham Rams. 3:09 to go in overtime. Brooklyn Gray directing the offense from the left wing. Gray has it and sends it over to Calhoun. Calhoun goes back to Gray. She thinks about the 3, then dribbles inside. Now she finds Anumeli wide open for 3 in the corner, and it's way too long. Airballed, and Shea Harris gets the rebound. Taya Davis slows it down for the Rams. 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go here in overtime. The Rams have a 3-point lead and the ball. Taya Davis on the right wing, moving towards the corner. Now moving back right to left, across the top of the paint. Tries to get it to Shea Harris, does get it to Shea Harris, who tries to get the layup up, but it's short. Doesn't get to the backboard and winds up out of bounds. So a turnover for the Rams there after an odd sequence between Taya Davis and Shea Harris, but the Rams still lead by 3 with 2:33 to go.
Yeah, the Billikens able to blow up that action. Shea Harris wires all across, forgets to dribble that one as she was kind of startled by that. It just throws up the air ball.
Calhoun to Gray, back to Calhoun. Calhoun directing the offense. Now it's Taya Davis guarding Calhoun. She gets it to Amunyele, who gets inside, and the lay is good. Too good from Anumeli. But the Rams still lead by 1, 53-52. Taya Davis with the ball. Timeout, Fordham.
Fordham on the sideline urging for travel on that last call there. Couldn't get the exact angle to see where the footing was exactly. 52-53. Fordham with still 1 point lead, doing their job, not giving up the 3-point shot. But again, they're going to have to crash hard. Again, Smith. Tierra Smith, the name escapes me for a moment, grabbed that crucial offensive rebound off of the Brooklyn Gray miss. And they were able to generate some offense out of there. But Fordham, you match up with them in the rebounding department. Rose Nelson's going to get into this game, add some size, maybe get on the boards a little bit there to ensure that there are no second chances for St. Louis.
And we do have, actually, no, we'll keep it right here because we.
Why not?
Yeah, we've talked a bit through this media timeout. So we'll keep it here with 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go in overtime. Fordham Rams without Irene Murua for the rest of this game. Of course, St. Louis without Markavia Shavers.
Yes, of course.
But still plenty of players in foul trouble. Taylor Donaldson needs to keep her hands off of the opponents for the rest of this one. She has 4 fouls. The Rams cannot afford to lose TD for the rest of this game. And for the Billikens, it goes pretty much the same way. You've got Brooklyn Gray and Kennedy Calhoun both at 4 fouls. So if either of them pick up another foul at any point, they'll be sitting for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I believe there's a story out there by Richard Kahn now. I believe it was titled The Most Dangerous Game. And for both teams, it is indeed a very, very dangerous game. 4 personal fouls for Calhoun and Gray apiece. Shavers is already gone. You look on the side of Fordham. Mora's out of here. Veljovic with 4. Donaldson with 4. Wilson Saltos with 4. She's probably one player that's going to get the call up. Barry is on watch as well to fill up that responsibility. So it's going to have to be clean play for both teams. And with 2:03, that seems like an eternity without fouling in such a close game.
Fordham has possession as they have taken the timeout. They'll have possession out of the timeout with a chance to make it a 3 or maybe a 2 possession game. But the Fordham Rams need to stay clean on defense, but at the same time, they need to stay locked in.
Yeah, it's a line. It's a tightrope that you have to walk. A tightrope that you have to walk. Good aggressive defense versus straight up fouling. I think Fordham has done a pretty solid job at doing that tonight. Again, the officiating not without critique, even from me and you on this sideline. But again, Fordham's just going to have to bite the bullet and take it on the head.
Rose Nelson in the game for the Fordham Rams. She will inbound it, looking for an option. She finds Taylor Donaldson. Donaldson working on Hannah Wallace. Gets by her, puts up the floater, and it's no good. Kayla Berry charges in for the rebound, but she doesn't get it. It goes to Brooklyn Gray. Gray gets it to Wallace. Wallace goes across to Calhoun, who takes it across half court. Calhoun gets it to Gray. Gray crossover and cross back over. She backs into the paint. Now Kennedy Calhoun on the left wing. She moves inside, puts up the layup, and she's fouled. Kennedy Calhoun fouled on the layup attempt. She'll go to the line for 2 in a 1-point game.
And again, the speed of Kennedy Calhoun to just maneuver around defenders there. Gets Taya Davis on a little bit of an awkward position, awkward angle there. Blows past her, and Fordham's left with nothing to do but foul. It's a pleasure, an absolute treat when you have a smaller guard with that size who loves to put pressure on the rim, because again, you're forced to collapse and you're forced to get in there before they put up the shot.
With that shooting foul, Anastasia Veljovic's night is now done. That's her 5th foul of the game, so scratch Veljovic, scratch Morwa for the last minute 39 here for the Fordham Rams.
And here comes Barry into the game.
It's Kayla Berry, Taylor Donaldson, Taya Davis, and Shea Harris alongside Rose Nelson out there for the Fordham Rams as Kennedy Calhoun misses the first of 2 free throws. It gives kind of a weird look to the bench afterwards. She sets up her second now to tie the game. Calhoun makes the second, so tied at 53. Fordham catching a bit of a break there, a minute 36 and ticking in overtime. Taya Davis hands it off to Shea Harris, fakes the dribble handoff to Donaldson. She has it on the left wing. Now it's Kayla Berry. Kayla Berry guarded by Simon. Barry puts it on the floor, crosses over, moves inside for the 2, but it's off the top of the glass. Rebounded by Taylor Donaldson. She crosses over, moves into the paint, gets the shot up, but it's no good. It rolls off the front iron. It's rebounded by Tiara Simon. Tiara Simon is up to a double-double now. It's her 5th of the season. Kennedy Calhoun finds Brooklyn Gray inside. Brooklyn Gray directing the offense and now moves into the paint. But her layup is too strong off the back iron. Rebounded by Simon. She nearly throws it away, but Hannah Wallace recovers and gets it back to Kennedy Calhoun.
Again, the offensive rebounding. They trail the Fordham Rams here, but it's been crucial for them, and they've been making good on it every single time down.
Moving inside is Anyumeli, and she's fouled as she goes for the layup. It's no good, but Anyumeli will go to the line for 2 with 36.2 to go. Rose Nelson picks up the personal. Tie ball game here in St. Louis. Anyumeli is at the line for the Billikens to give them the lead here. Her first shot is good. Bounces off the iron, then the glass, then through. Second free throw coming for Anyumeli. And the free throw is no good on the second, but it's rebounded by Tiara Simon over Rose Nelson.
It's a tale as old as the tape. You got to be able to box out there if you're Rose Nelson. You got to make sure that you check the man before you get to the ball. Man, then ball, not ball, then man, because that situation, that exact situation can happen to you to the point where they get the offensive rebounding back. Again, it's been a place where they've trailed Fordham all game long, but they've been able to make extremely good of it.
And Simon's first free throw is good after Shea Harris was forced to foul her when she picked up the rebound. It's 55-53 St. Louis now, 33.7, and we are in personal foul territory for the Fordham Rams. That is why Simon is at the line right now. Simon's second free throw is good. It gives the Billikens a 3-point lead with 33 to go, and Bridgette Mitchell calls timeout for the Fordham Rams.
Again, not over, 33.7 left. 3-point deficit for the Fordham Rams, but again, they've kept it close all game long. It's been a linear progression for both teams, given the fact that, yes, the Billikens have led for a majority of this, but Fordham has been nipping at their heels. As strong as a ram's horn, Fordham has been playing, and again, they've given themselves an opportunity to be in this despite the officiating, despite the missed shots, despite the slow start to this game. So again, you don't necessarily need a 3. You get yourself a nice deuce there, foul, and then play the long game. It's really let me stop the stuttering. There's a lot of options here for Fordham.
Yeah, there's plenty of options. I mean, there is a lot of game left with 33.7 on the clock. Bridgette Mitchell has a timeout to work with. Both teams in the bonus, so if you can force a foul out of St. Louis, you'll go to the line. Fordham just needs to stop fouling on the other end because they've sent St. Louis to the line on, I think, 3 possessions in a row now, and on back-to-back possessions just last time. So now Taya Davis has it, ticking under 30. Taya Davis tries to get it to Taylor Donaldson. Taylor Donaldson moves into the paint, fires up a wild layup, doesn't get a call. It's rebounded by Wallace. Now Calhoun has it with 18.3 on the clock. Rose Nelson picks up the intentional foul. Bridgette Mitchell arguing her case that there was a foul against Taylor Donaldson.
Yeah, Taylor Donaldson hit the ground hard on that one. The flare action towards the corner. They were able to get the ball to her despite the strong and heavy double team. They threw the fire at Taylor Donaldson. She's able to attack baseline, gets the awkward shot up. She hits the floor, and no call for the Fordham Rams.
Brooklyn Gray, her first free throw's no good. Still a 3-point game, but Brooklyn Gray has a chance now at the line to make this a 2-possession ball game with 18.3.
Fordham gonna have to go and score on this next possession, miss or make.
And she makes.
Oh, they'll call the timeout here.
Bridgette Mitchell calls her final timeout here in overtime. The Rams now in a 4-point hole. They've been on a 3-minute plus scoring drought now, have the Fordham Rams, after going on a huge run to even get them back into this game in the first place in the fourth quarter. They've gone relatively cold here in overtime, Madi.
Yeah, you feel the water pressure rising for Fordham. Nowhere else to go. Again, 2 players fouled out, 1 player on the verge, and that's Taylor Donaldson. And then you have 1, 2, 3, counted 3 players with 3 fouls here. Shouldn't affect them with 18.3 seconds to go, but it's been a testament to the war that they've had to place in the St. Louis Billikens.
Fordham, when this game shakes out, you know, you can look at the shooting and maybe draw a connection there again, but both of these sides shot poorly. And, I mean, there were plenty of opportunities for Fordham to maybe even pull away from St. Louis in this overtime. St. Louis went relatively cold at the start of this overtime period before the media timeout. But now Fordham find themselves in a deficit once again, as they had for most of this game. Just a 4-point deficit, though, and like we've been saying, the game's certainly not over yet. Anything can happen with 18.3 on the clock in a 2-point game, but no more timeouts for the Fordham Rams, no fouls to give, and no time on the shot clock. Taya Davis gets the inbound from Donaldson. Davis working on Calhoun, under 13 seconds now. Taya Davis working inside. She finds Kayla Berry for 2, and it's long, no good. Rose Nelson battles for the rebound, and it's going to be out of bounds off of Rose Nelson. While she was trying to save the ball, she landed out of bounds and got her hand on it, so it's out of bounds on the Rams. I believe St. Louis is calling a timeout. Rebecca Tillett asked for her 3rd timeout, or I believe first timeout of the overtime. Fordham in a 4-point deficit now without possession of the basketball. Billikens will likely try to draw up a play here.
Yeah, deep conversation here with the referee as I look for the program, just to look for the... Yeah, again, head coach Bridgette Mitchell not happy with that one. Asking for a review. 4.5 left on the shot clock there.
It's going to take a miracle at this point for the Fordham Rams, I think. Still waiting the Billikens to break their huddle. Taya Davis talking with the referees a little bit, trying to get an explanation here. Fordham Rams really just... you hate to see it go down this way, Madi, because they've made such a valiant comeback in that fourth quarter. But the referees got involved so much during this game, really throughout, and heavily as well in the fourth quarter. You could say that that was part of the reason why the Rams were able to get back into the game, and maybe that's so, but you get down into it here, and Fordham's been without two of their better players for the latter 2 minutes of this game, as Kayla Berry immediately fouls Isabel Tillett, sends her to the line with just 2 seconds on the clock here. Isabel Tillett with a chance to put it out of reach for the Rams. She stands at the line now. As I said before, the oldest daughter of head coach Rebecca Tillett drills the first one. It's a 5-point game now with 2 seconds, and this one I think it's safe to say Madi might be in the books. As Tillett hits the second of 2. Fordham will inbound, down by 6 points to get the final 2 seconds off the clock in this game. And that's the buzzer, ladies and gentlemen. The St. Louis Billikens defend home court after a tough loss to George Mason. They get the win tonight, 59-53 over the Fordham Rams. It was an incredible performance tonight from Tiara Simon. She led the team in scoring with her 19 points. For the Fordham Rams, it was Taylor Donaldson doing all that she could with her 21, trying to get this team back into it, and she did in that fourth quarter, Madi. She got them back into it but in the overtime period, it just didn't fall the Rams' way.
Yeah, again, a complete game throughout for both teams. They played an excellent brand of basketball. St. Louis leading for majority, but Fordham right there, sticking with them. A perpetual thorn on the Billikens side there. The Billikens able to edge them out and keep the Rams at bay here, 59-53. But ladies and gentlemen, if you missed it, you've missed so much. Impressive from both sides, from both teams.
If anyone stopped listening in the second quarter, you missed one of the craziest swings in a basketball game that I think I've ever seen. It was an insane ride, Madi. I gotta say, this game was pretty ridiculous. It goes all time in my list of games that I've seen in person of just the insane amounts of swings and the way we thought Fordham was completely out of this game by the half. And then by the end of the fourth quarter, we're going to an overtime. It was absolutely ridiculous, but it doesn't fall the way that Fordham would like. Another defeat. It's their second in a row. Once again, the Billikens 59, the Rams 53, but that just about does it for us tonight. From the Chaifetz Arena in St. Louis, Missouri, I am Tucker Austin. He is Madi Dembele.
Yes, I am.
And we are going to send you back to the Rose Hill studio for the one-on-one post-game report. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Well, in a thrilling finish, the Fordham Rams fall to St. Louis in overtime. Final score of 59-53. For the Billikens, I'm Grace McCarron, joined by Luis Andrade and Kurt Sipple on the producer mic. Fellas, what do we think of that game? What the Fordham Rams got it close. What happened?
Honestly, it's great to see how that they came back, and especially with that horrible start. Scoring, I think it was 18. Wait, how much was it? Let me double check. It was 18 points in the first half for the Billikens and 14 for the Rams. Honestly, horrible start, and the way they finished was just outstanding. I never expected that to come. I was talking to Kurt and you, Grace, about how I thought this game's over. It's going to be, just one of those blowouts, historically bad game. But it was so surprising to see him come back, especially they were being led by Taylor Donaldson with 21 points. She had a big three to put them back in the game, and it really changed the momentum for the Rams side, and she did a wonderful job overall.
It was a TD3. And the thing is, Taylor Donaldson really does try to put this team at maximum, try to lead this team at maximum at the best of her abilities. And when you get out to such a bad start like Fordham did and St. Louis did, for that matter of fact, because, look at the first half. Combined scores, Fordham scored 8 points in the first quarter, 4 points in the second quarter. Then they scored, and the St. Louis scored 8 points in the first quarter, 10 points in the second quarter. And then after that, like we said, lit the fire underneath them. And then Fordham goes for 26 in the fourth, and St. Louis has 14. The issue is that I feel like Fordham might have ran out of gas. I don't think that they were getting enough contributions today from everybody else. Taylor Donaldson's 21 points, you really felt that 21 points. Sometimes in a basketball game, you can feel different things with how different players perform. For example, if you see a player getting 20 points, but it feels like a quiet 20 points, you don't really realize it.
Yep.
You realize Taylor Donaldson's 21 points tonight. Mm-hmm. And I think that she definitely needed more help tonight from her bench. I think that things had to pick up a little bit. Fordham's three-point percentage tonight was lackluster. They were 2 for 16. St. Louis might not have been better. They were 3 for 13. But those are things that you have to improve on if you want to contend even further into the A-10. This is the longest losing streak, I believe, that we've had all season.
Yep.
A loss to Rhode Island and a loss to St. Louis. And I will say the two comparing things that I have about those two losses are how slow that both teams started. I feel like Fordham started slow last game, was having shooting lows, and then bring it back and try to bring it back when it was too late. That's how it feels like for this game as well. You might have brought it back a little too late. Irene Marua with 8 points. Oshoma with 8 points as well. Shea Harris with 8 points. Those people, usually you can see a little more double figures from them. You expect more from some of them. And that's one of the things that Fordham might have to look at tape and be like, we have to figure out how to start games strong. because it felt like they might have been out of it before the start. They got back, and it was such an exciting game, especially an overtime thriller like it was. But you got to close these things out because the best teams are going to close out these massive W's at the end.
Well, the Fordham Rams scored 0 points in the last 3 minutes and 24 seconds of this clash, while the Billikens went on a 9-0 run in the last 2 minutes and 16 seconds. That is not the way to pull off the victory in overtime for the Fordham Rams. But looking ahead, this Tuesday, the Rams head to the nation's capital to face GW, and then this coming Saturday, a week from today, we have George Mason coming to the Rose Hill Gym. So looking ahead a little bit, Luis, what do the Fordham Rams need to do? They're on a 2-game losing streak. What do they need to do to get out of this?
Me and Kurt talked about this earlier, but start off, their defense was great. I feel like that's what put them back into the game. Not only scoring, but defending and getting that score to stay the same so they could come back. On that point, they had, I believe, 11 steals and only 16 points off that, 16 points from those steals, which to me was a little ridiculous because, 11 steals is a lot. Like, you had such a great comeback from there, but you guys you got to take those opportunities. I mentioned this way earlier at the halftime. I feel like they need to take advantage of a great defense, and I feel like those points was the game changer. Look at that; it was only a 6-point game at the end, and on these close games, this was winnable for them. And they got to win these close games all the time.
Well, I think that the next games that that Fordham is playing, George Washington should be a bounce-back game. They beat them earlier the year. George Washington is 1-9 in conference play. That's a get-right game for Fordham.
Yep.
You have to have a get-right game right now because you have to just right the ship. We saw Coach Bridgette Mitchell have the righting of the ship after their conference opener against Massachusetts. The same thing happened when they played St. Joseph's in Philadelphia. They righted the ship, and they got back into the winning column. Right now, I don't feel like it is a something to worry about for Fordham.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't something that I think will affect them in the long run. We're just talking about it right now. And then you have a pretty tough competition when you play George Mason, who are 9-2 in the conference. George Mason will be a tough opponent, but that's another measuring stick.
Right.
Coach Bridgette Mitchell in the beginning of the year said there are no measuring stick games for her. She said that we play every game and take opponent by opponent. And I think that has been shown throughout the season that they are taking opponent by opponent. Today against St. Billikens, against the Billikens, taking their opponent and figuring out how to beat them, but just not getting enough because they ran out of gas. But taking opponent by opponent for Coach Bridgette Mitchell should be working out in the long run because you're never looking in the future.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking in the future because we're broadcasters, and that's what we're paid to do. But I think entirely Fordham might have a hard schedule coming up, but I think that they will last.
Well, that is just about going to do it for our post-game show. Once again, the St. Louis Billikens best the Fordham Rams 59-53, but some shout-outs to close us out here. I'm Grace McCarran, your studio host. Luis Andrade was on updates. Kurt Sippel behind the board and on the producer mic. Bobby Chaffardini is the director of WFUV Sports. And we also have Madi Dembele and Tucker Austin on the beautiful call tonight. But Fordham University women's basketball is a production of WFUV Sports. That is going to do it, everybody. Have a wonderful night.